So what you're telling me is the TWAB's not very packed this week?
There's some things. It's just not quite the novella we've been used to.
Yeah.
Let's see. As I try and work to get myself alert. Jesus. Anyway. Let's see. So there have been updates to the development roadmap. Some things are switched around, which I actually knew more beforehand. Exotic repetition reduction and the Nightfall Strike unique rewards have been pushed back to the March update.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
That was kind of a lofty goal to have it,
Well,
quick.
Yeah, exotic repetition wasn't actually a stretch goal, but they have kind of pushed it back, so that's slightly unfortunate. Mm-hmm. And of course, they have added in the holy crap ton of emblem variants that will be coming the 27th now. Fireteam members on the destination map are still in. PC public text chat opt-in, and then the companion mod and shader interactions. Prestige Nightfall challenge cards are a tentative release. Yeah, new tentative release for February, and that's those changes. So nothing too major sweeping coming from that. And they are talking about they're going to talk about Nightfall Strike scoring and emblem variants. And they have Tyson Green talking about the changes that they're these emblem variant changes, or they implement aura changes, which let's see, they're exposing more stats on emblems and making those emblems more available to players who want to display those stats. For example, the Crucible emblems that advertise wins or KDs can now be obtained directly from Shaxx after 10 Crucible rep packages. If you don't get one earlier, we're also deploying a new emblem that advertises your Crucible kills, which is broken down by class, so you can see who find themselves in your crosshair more often.
So basically, it can tell you if you kill.
Yeah, actually, it's
Titan Warlock.
Yeah, so these emblems, they have a picture emblem, a picture of
All right, Billy's in. There we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
So now we got most of the Rasputin Radio crew in with us. So
90, well 3/5. So what is that?
74.6%.
Yeah, there we go. Somewhere in there.
Conceivably, looking at my calculator, the calculation is
it's technically it's technically 60%, but it's all right. Go ahead.
But
I have to do my best Asher Mir for that. Inconceivably, the thing is that they're part of Rasputin Radio is here, part of the group.
Very nice. But the picture of the this new emblem that they have, it's like lifetime Crucible kills, Hunters defeated, Titans defeated, Warlocks defeated. So they seem to be going a little crazy with information.
Yeah, they're gonna add tracking to a lot of the ghosts. I think that, or a lot of emblems. I think that's pretty cool. And then there's gonna be auras on them too, which is pretty cool.
Exactly. Because they are being removed as standalone items. Existing raid trials and new Nightfall emblems will provide the existing aura effects to players. Future emblems can also roll out with new effects. Yay.
So each Nightfall is going to have a different aura? Is that what I'm reading?
Could be. I mean, they could just be...
Sounds like, yeah.
They could just be recycling the aura attached to these emblems.
This might be a stupid question, but are we recording?
Oh, yeah, we've been recording for the past 9 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we don't do a live intro on RNG anymore. We just go straight in.
Yeah, we just roll into it. So
that's why I was...
Bring it in for the real thing.
My bad. I thought we were waiting for Billy.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, you're good. It's
Woohoo!
We do things different on our
Rngcast.
In hindsight, a slight warning may have been better, but
If you listen, I did say we're recording now. So
I'm sure you did say that,
Max.
but I have ADD, so I did not hear that at all.
It's fine. So the TWAB wasn't as big as it was, and they're just telling us more information, which everybody wanted Bungie to do. Someone apparently is breaking into a bank vault. But we have some guests this week.
we do.
We have the boys from Rasputin Radio. We have Honus 5. We have Chicken
What
Fingers.
Yep.
And is this Talon or is this...
It's Talon.
This is Talon we
Talon.
have.
Talon, or you can call me Billy. Either way is good.
All right. Well, we were on your guys' show yesterday, and we figured why not have a crossover episode with Rasputin Radio, because
Worlds are colliding.
the worlds do collide. Sometimes the Justice League meets the Injustice League, or I don't know, bizarre versions of themselves. But welcome.
It's
to
like Earth 1 and Earth 2.
Yeah, right.
This is what I love about the community of Destiny, is that instead of us being competitors in a normal environment of that's a podcast that does Destiny stuff and we're a podcast, we embrace each other, and that's how it's always been for a lot of the cast. I would say some of the cast, not all of them, but and that's what we love about you guys. We're not we all have our little niche, but we want to make sure that we're all friends. We're all for Destiny.
Bringing it for the real thing.
Yeah, we love you.
The feeling's mutual, and I mean, the way we look at it is, we say it all the time. This isn't a feast or famine. There's room at the table for everybody.
Right.
I personally I've helped several podcasts get off the ground. The guys have sent me messages how do you guys record? And I'm like, this is what you need. Here's what you do. And then they're like, oh man, thanks. I thought you would be like, no. Because
Watch out for this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows if there's people that can tell you about screw-ups.
It's us.
It's us.
We're the goblins of podcasting. If something can go wrong, it does go wrong.
The podcast goblins. Wait
Yeah.
a second. There's the name of the show.
Yeah, it
I
could
know,
be.
right?
But
Pod goblins.
Pod gobs.
Goblin
Pod
casting.
gobs.
Pod
I
gobs.
actually like that.
Gobs.
Pod gobs.
Copyright.
So, for the people who listen to the RNG, who don't listen to Rasputin Radio, number one, what are you guys doing with your life? These guys are great. I listen to them,
Yeah,
so you
seriously.
should listen to them
Come on.
as well. Give a brief synopsis of what you guys bring to the table.
I'll let you do it, Chicken, because you're the voice.
I'm not the voice. We're all the voice. But anyways, the mission is plain and simple. We realize that there's a lot of amazing people in the Destiny community that don't get spotlight, don't get recognition, don't get love. And I don't know if it's because marketing drive for Bungie's part or this, that, and the other thing, but either way, we're like, let's do what we can to get them out there, put them up on some kind of pedestal, and hopefully they get, excuse me, they get the, I'm joking up, I'm just kidding. They get the recognition they deserve. And I mean, it's not like we are make or break for people's career, like, oh, you were on Oprah? You know what I mean? It's not like that, but what we've been doing is just finding people. It doesn't matter if they're average Joes or, streamers, artists, this, that. And we just, been following them, supporting them. And a lot of them have gained traction and have grown from it, which is great because they deserve it. I know Boompus just this past week has sent his art to some Bungie people, and they have it up at their workstation.
Right,
and
we had
just go ahead.
Sorry, we had Boompus and Cobb and Trophy King and all these guys that you might see their art and things. Young Khan, all these guys that have been doing amazing things for years.
Right.
Hopefully getting more recognition.
Right, and we hope to be that positive push in the direction. Like with Cobb, I remember he was barely starting to try and stream, and we're like, do it. If you stream, we're watching you. And now he's got like 20 plus people in his streams consistently, got a bunch of subs and doing his thing. And
he was featured on
right
on I can't think of it.
What?
Tefty Tef's podcast.
Right. He was on Destiny Community Podcast.
Yeah, Community Podcast.
And with Boompus, he just got back into it, right? So when you had a hobby and then get back into it, you know what I mean? You're in a very fragile state. And we like somehow got him right in that state, and we're like, yo, you need to keep going. And now he just is blowing up. So it's great. Like, hey, those little things. Same thing with Trophy King. Like, he's really good too. But there's just so many. It's not just those guys. There's so many.
And that's one aspect of our podcast. The other aspect is we really focus on comedy and taking Destiny not so seriously, you know?
Try to.
We want to make sure we have fun with it because whether it's like, you know, we have a thing called the Throwdown where we make up funny questions about Destiny. Like this week was pitch a Destiny themed Broadway musical, right? And it's just
glorious.
So it's like things like that, and we just have fun with it. And we want to keep it light, and the comedy is our number one after, you know, the community and positivity. So
right, because in a sea of salt, you gotta try and laugh.
Yeah,
to add on to just real quick to add on to Chris's point, I think there have been a lot of people similar to Cobb that, you know, we've kind of had either on the show or people that have discovered, and they were kind of in their infancy with growing with their, you know, with their followers and all the people that were getting into some of the things that they do. And to add on to Chris's point, there's a lot of people that I really think work their ass off, not just to, you know, build themselves up as a brand, but, you know, their talent and their creativity. And one of the ones I remember we kind of discovered early on, and everybody on the show was like a huge fan of the guy just from the get-go. Me personally, so I'm a huge fan of Legos, was Brickenick. You know, when he just started and was doing, you know, building exotics out of Legos and stuff, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And, you know, kind of followed the guy. And Chris, out of habit, I think for quite a few shows, we would like raid that guy's show while he was streaming and just bring some of the viewers from Rasputin Radio over to him, and the dude would be building like a Callus or, you know, like I think
he does like request builds too. It's not just Destiny stuff, but he does a lot of Destiny stuff, and it's like it's just amazing.
When he built the Risk Runner, that was I think one of the
and
first.
And it shot too. That was wild,
dude. Yeah, it was really cool.
Now that's the thing. Like, I'm just getting back into the whole art scene, and I mean, for if you guys don't know, we did the Same 14 stream with you guys, and I won a sketch card from Cobb 1, and I mean, I can't say anything bad about the guy. He is a fantastic dude. He's been talking to me, asking me what I wanted. And I mean, when it comes to art, because I have zero artistic skills, I am very open with like artistic interpretation. So I just told him basically, hey, you know, the idea is Ahamkara raid for a Titan. Go. And he was like, you don't want anything else? I'm like, I want you to do you. And he was like, cool, I'm going to stream it. And he was like, if you want to watch, you can. And I'm like, all right. So I was at work, and I just noticed he went online. And I was like, okay, I'll just check it. And I got to the very, like, it must have been him doing, like, the shading of it. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is dope. And I was like, we had Khan on. And I think we need to have Des. I think we need to make the promise that we need to get more artists on here, because obviously I'm going to be getting more artwork for the podcasting area. So when we do go camera on, video live, it's not just a white wall behind me. But we need to get Cobb on. We need to get actually, I just found out about Brick and Nick, so I'm kind of ashamed of that. But I love Legos, even though
oh, it's all good, dude.
Yeah, I need to get in contact with him and see if we can get him on. But like you guys asked yesterday, a little bit behind podcasting, if we had any constructive criticism, and obviously Des and I don't, because you guys do a great show. I thought about it.
Oh my God, thank you, man.
My only criticism, okay, was it was too short. I was just. I mean, I know you guys had stuff to do. I know you guys had stuff to do, but yeah, we we do long shows, and right when I felt like we were getting into it and having a blast, it was like, oh, we gotta go, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, the shows, no joke, dude. Both Chris and Matt can tell you, there were some shows legit. If you go back to some of the other earlier episodes, they went well over like an hour and a half. Like
we were up at 2 hours.
Something like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, like we had toyed
real
around.
Real quick, is swearing allowed on here?
Yeah, you can swear.
Yeah, so
okay.
there was. We started off like doing the long podcast, and then we kind of like jumped back and forth. We found that kind of happy medium. We like that hour to an hour and a half max. Sometimes shows go short. I mean, it depends on who's on the cast. The more people we have on stream, the longer it's going to be. Because when we give Guardian Throwdown ideas, if we have more people in chat, we want to interact more. So it goes a little longer. If there's a lot of announcements for Destiny, we might cover them a little bit. You know what I mean? So it varies.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's, as everyone knows, there's a little bit of a drought right now in Destiny. So as far as like Destiny news, there really isn't too much. I mean, there's the TWAB and things like that, but there, so we're going right into just our comedy stuff. So it goes a little quicker. So we've been hitting about like 50 to like hour right now. We would, and I've talked to you, Buster, a lot. So I will, we bullshit a lot. So it's, anytime we get a chance to bullshit more, we're all for it.
I mean, hell, you're going to join my clan, right? So
yeah, hell yeah.
We're about to be clan mates. And that goes to you too, Chick.
Oh,
yeah. You can join the clan. I could shoot you after we become PSN friends because we're not PSN friends apparently. I don't know why. I mean, we did raid together.
Wait!
That's
I didn't.
cold, man.
I didn't accept and send.
I think.
Oh,
snap. I don't know. It's maybe PSN's being really weird. I couldn't find Honish yesterday.
I'm about to turn it on right now.
But what I find that the length of podcast typically depends on the length of podcast you listen to. And I think,
right.
Well, I mean, Des, you can't really do this anymore because you have a 20-minute car ride.
Yeah, exactly.
But I listen to long-form podcasts. I listen to, like, Joe Rogan, Hardcore History. Like, I listen to 2-hour-plus podcasts religiously. So for me...
Sword and Scale.
Yeah, a short podcast, like... I mean, like I said, we were just getting into the fun. But, obviously, life happens. Babies and whatnot. So we weren't, So you guys... If you're in for the long haul, we do. I think Des, what was our shortest? 2 hours?
Yeah. Like what we used to consider long form being 2 hours when we started doing this.
It's not long form anymore.
Yeah, that's like our short form now.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, last week. Last week, Drifty was like, he was like, "Hey, you guys feeling okay? It's only an hour and 45 minutes." I'm like, "That's not.
That's
Hold on,
that's not right.
I'll check this."
Hang on.
So.
Nice.
It's like we recorded for 3.5 hours. An hour 45 minutes. Something's wrong here.
Right.
So
it's just it's funny. It's just it just depends. Like I said, we get into it sometimes. It's really long.
Oh yeah, talking about mythology.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you guys said. They mentioned the commute. We want something that someone can. Like, because I know there's like closure's huge for people. I don't know if it's just a thing that the universe has, but like closure is huge. So like if I start a book or a movie, I want to finish it and I'm gonna drive myself nuts. Mm-hmm. So like if we have a lengthy podcast, I don't know if people will listen to the second half. It's just one of those things. So like we try to keep it in that whole like commute thing. But, we've certainly had, like, super long episodes, though. I mean, if you're getting into it, you're getting into it.
Exactly.
Right, and we're not, like, time is an essence. Like, we have a time limit. We don't. We just have an idea in our head, and if it goes tangent-wise, it goes tangent-wise. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I think the best analogy, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but when we were talking about that, I think it was, like, probably right around like episode 15, 20, like after, Trans Health had been on, we kind of readjusted some things and all that. We talked about the time, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we mentioned like kind of having something that fits people's schedules almost regardless of what they're doing. And I think one of the things that was brought up is like when people go to work out. So it's like usually within that sweet spot of an hour, if somebody's listening to a podcast, we wanted to try to, get it in that spot if we could.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So people are working out and listen to podcasts and everything. But yeah, man, there have been some shows, and the guys know, like, for me personally, I ramble like a son of a bitch when it comes to like mythology, and like you just mentioned Lysander. In my head, it's like, okay, we've got like 5 hours to kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a secret taser that I press a button and it tases Talon every time he talks too long. So if you hear him like jolt out, that's what it is.
No, Talon, you're in good company, buddy. You're in great company when it comes to lore. Des and I have had epic conversations of lore and just game and life and comics and movies, and I mean, if you want to ramble, we're the ramblers. Let's get rambling. Is the phrase I can think of.
Life is my like spirit animal when it comes to talking about all that stuff. It's like I can go for hours.
Now, guys, what's going on now is the new faction rally, and we talked about the weapons last week. Is there anything you guys are questing after? Is there anything that's like a carrot on a stick, if you were?
The goddamn ship! The son of a bitch ship! That is the only fucking thing I need! I'm sorry to like flip out right now. I got done with, I've made a point, and even though Matt brought up the game is kind of dwindling on my friends list, I still have a good chunk of people that are on and playing. But I made a point that each faction rally I was going to commit all 3 characters to one faction each time, so I get all the armor. Mm-hmm. Weapons, kind of don't care about. There's very few weapons, in my opinion, few and far between, that are worth the grind. But I at the very least want like all the armor sets for each character, their sparrows, the ghosts, and the ship. Get the whole enchilada from each faction. And I got everything done a couple days ago for all 3. Got the ornaments, busted those out. The goddamn ship has eluded me, and I've turned in probably, honestly, guys, I think that faction's going to win legitimately, probably because of me. I've turned in probably like another 300 damn tokens, and I'm doing all the daily stuff every single day, trying to get that ship, and it's eluding me. I hate it so much.
What ship are you after?
It's the Dead Orbit ship. I forget the name of it. It kind of looks like Asher Mears' like exotic ship, like the design of it a little bit. Kind of got that look to it. I forget the name of it, but the Dead Orbit ship for the faction rally is eluding me right now, and it's severely pissing me off. It's like, come on, please, I can be done with this.
Okay, Honus, you after anything?
Yeah, like I personally really like the look of the future War Cult armor. So I'm like for the Titans. So I'm currently trying to grind that. I actually like both the New Monarchy and Future War Cult. I like the little Future War Cult a little bit better. So I'm kind of like just trying to grind that right now.
All right,
that's basically it for me. Like and maybe get the weapons, whatever.
I don't log into Destiny much. I'm trying to play once a week with Honus. But the faction rallies, I mean, the first time around, I was really excited. I rep Future War Cult no matter what, so probably anything Future War Cult. I haven't seen really any new stuff from them. Now that Billy mentions ships and such knots, like I'm sure there's a cool ship that I probably want and stuff like that. But, I mean, usually I just rep that Future War Cult super hard, so anything from there probably be tasty.
Okay. Des, you after anything, buddy?
You mean other than like Future War Cult helmets and the Song of Justice from New Monarchy?
So many Future War Cult elitists here. Damn you all.
Sorry, but anyway.
He's not sorry at all.
Yeah, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry?
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I don't know. This faction rally is like super aggravating for me. I mean, I have like all my ornaments set up. Or actually, I've been able to unlock most of all the ornaments except for the helmet pieces, which of course require nightfalls with the entire set. But all three of my characters do have full sets. I'm debating on whether I actually want to do the nightfalls to unlock them, because honestly, the helmet ornaments are like my least interested like parts of the armor.
Dude, I'll help you with that, man. The nightfall this week is easy.
Fair enough.
Well, what I think that like of all the ornaments, I mean, everybody knows I'm a new monarchy because I'm a Titan main. Real quick, guys.
The new the ornamented new monarchy stuff for a Titan looks gaudy and amazing.
Yeah. Honus, what do you mean, buddy?
Titan. 100%.
Billy, what do you mean?
Hunter, all day, every day.
Chicken, what do you mean?
What do I mean?
Yeah.
Ask him what his kid's name is.
I mean the one, the Hunter.
Okay, so we got no warlocks.
No.
All right.
Well, Billy turned to the dark side, so I don't know.
What the fuck? You bring that up every time.
I'm holding that against you, bro. I'm holding that against you.
Dude, Chicken
Hunters. Quick little story. Can I?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it was, what was it? I think I was grinding for the armor, the raid armor that was a severe pain in the ass to get, if I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember. And I was going through with all my characters. I've got one of each. I love each of them dearly. Hunter is definitely the main, followed by the Titan, and then the Warlock, but there's not a huge discrepancy in playtime on each. I just prefer like the other two more than the Warlock. But the Warlock's RNG, as always happens, usually gets the best drops, gets armor first, this, that, and the other. And I ended up getting all the raid armor first for the Warlock. So, of course, like I posted a picture in our group. I was like, you guys, look, I got it. And Chris's first thing is like, boo, how dare you? Like, we can't be friends. You're on a Warlock. Like, it was like, how could you? The betrayal is real. It's like, no, it's just the RNG. Like, it wasn't. I'm not meaning a Warlock. It's Hunters for life, man. Hunters for life.
You see, everybody gives Warlock shit until you played with them in Crimson Doubles, and then you realize, oh, that rift is ridiculously useful.
Rifts for days.
Yeah, oh, I could just have arc buddies and not worry, and just throw my suppression nades, and everything is good? Okay.
I can actually have like 3 to 4 people on my team? What?
Yeah.
That's what rift buddies turn into.
The number one thing I always tell people, and you have to give credit to Warlocks for, it is the only class that back in D1 has soloed every single raid. So I'll give them that.
You can't listen.
That's more person than class.
And second of all, you having that self revive is a big thing about it. Like you can't. If Titans had a self revive, I guarantee there'd be Titans doing it too. So that's a side.
Mm-hmm.
Self-res is just
So
right.
Yeah, D1 Warlocks were basically, it was like, oh, we're doing hard mode. All right, well, it's cool if you die as long as you have super.
Yeah, just come back.
That was pretty much
right.
D1
So
Warlocks.
I mean, I love your argument, but that's just horse manure.
It's malarkey. A bunch of malarkey.
Malarkey. Say shenanigans one more time. Just do it.
Shenanigans.
Bite that soap like a dick.
But just bite it. Just bite it. Bite it off like a dick.
Damn.
I love that fucking movie.
That movie's so great. We were talking about that yesterday too, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of the movie, not to go off on a tangent, but is when like he's sitting at the diner and then he's like, he thinks I'm Mexican. And he's like, he throws, sit down, Rando, and he like throws the syrup bottle at him. He's like,
oh my god!
Sit down, Rando.
Sit down, Rando.
Also, don't apologize for going on side tangents. We do that all the time.
I love comedy movies so much.
We
It's so
embrace
good. I mean,
the whole movie is good. To be fair,
candy bars.
Candy bars.
It's so good.
Meow.
Meow,
guys.
Farva. I want a liter cola.
Say car ramrod.
Have you seen the deleted scenes or like ones that they left out where he's like, what, where am I from? Arkansas? And he's like, Mississippi. And that's when he goes up there. He's like, listen to me, man.
Yeah.
Get up
Oh,
here,
yeah.
man. Oh, man.
One of the few
That's so
DVDs I still own. I think I've actually had to buy it 4 times because my friends have stolen it from me. Which is,
Are you guys a fan of the other Broken Lizard movies too?
Club Dread, Puddle Jumper,
Oh, that's so underrated. Club Dread is so underrated.
Beer Fest.
Oh,
Brittany Daniel, man.
So good.
2 words, Brittany Daniel. Oh, have mercy. I just had
It's frustrating.
Penelope.
Penelope, yeah.
Yeah, Penelope.
Und Bex.
Now,
I
guys,
love.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying that those all those movies are hilarious.
Yeah, they're fucking fantastic.
Even Salmon, like I thought it was the worst out of the bunch, but it still was okay. Salmon.
What was the one with the Vizu Vizu? What was that one?
Was that Puddle
That
Jumper?
was
Puddle Skipper? Was
It might have been. Oh yeah, Puddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was right. It was
Yeah.
Puddle Jumpers, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like
That
the
was-
first one together, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
about college.
It was in college. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, that was.
But that was even like really good. You could see like the early workings of like their style of comedy, and it was
right,
like
exactly.
really good.
Jade Chandrasar is awesome. I mean, they're all awesome. I like them all.
So, did you guys play any Crimson Days? This is actually leading into a question that is kind of relevant now. This isn't going to be a tangent. Did you play Burnout?
Yep.
No, but I watched it, and I love that map just by watching it.
Okay. Well, do you guys like the idea of bringing back D1 maps just redesigned, or are you like, we want new content, new maps?
I think if they are if I cut anyone off. I think if they're nostalgic maps, then bring them back. If they're like legendary or legacy maps, bring them back. But you cannot have the foundation of new content be recycled content. That's where I have a little bit of bad taste in my mouth in some situations, because it's like we're leaving all this other stuff behind, but then we're reintroducing it back in. Why not just leave it in, and then we'll just go from there? You know,
right?
that's
Like reskinned. My thing is on the same line as Chicken is that if it's just reskinned and then saying, "Hey, this is what we're bringing to you as new," it's not good. But if they're like, "Hey, 4 Crimson Doubles, we're bringing back an old map and an oldie but a goodie,"
you're right.
Right, then
100%.
I'm okay with it. But I guess it's how they.
If they were just
present it.
honest about it. Yeah, if they were just kind of honest.
Now, what?
Yeah,
map-
don't put a new coat of paint on something we've had for years and be like, "Hey guys, here's new content." It's like, no, it's not new. You guys tweaked. Oh, wait a second. The first map was in the daytime. Now we're in nighttime. Okay,
Right.
You can't
But I
say
liked
it's
that
new.
about it too, though. It was kind of cool. I was like, oh, now you can't sun camp. Excellent.
I know, right? That was like the best thing. That was like, oh, no more black. Because it's actually hilarious. The first time I loaded into Burning Shrines,
it was with us. It was with me, right? When we did doubles.
Well, no, I mean in D1.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so amazing because I hadn't loaded into it yet, and we like forewent the match for a bit and just staring at the sun. I was like, oh, this is so cool, and then I started playing Trials, and it's like,
oh, this sucks.
The sun is really aggravating. Why is this sun here?
really
I can't
bad.
see anything. Oh my god, why are they camping out there? Like, so
Their head glitching and everything.
yeah. So as soon as I saw it's like Dark Future, it's like, yeah.
I mean, I do like what they did with it, though. Like, I do like the changes, but again, it's just how you present it, you know. And maybe I'm just
100%.
biased because I don't like reskin. I don't like being sold the same shit as new. But that's for anything.
100%.
Right.
Yep.
So
That is
what map would you guys like to see come back reskinned?
That's a good
What was the one where the fallen catch was in the middle and that's where the heavy was?
Thieves Den?
Thieves Den.
Yeah, Thieves
that was
Den,
one of my favorites.
Make that like Vex or Cabal.
But with the time to kill and D2, I don't know if it'll be a good one. Because it was more of like guerrilla warfare
Yeah.
type style. So
Yeah, that was a map that had a lot of freedom on flanks and pathways and
right.
Oh my god.
So
for me, my two favorites were always Twilight Gap or Rusted Lands. So
right, Twilight Gap would be awesome.
Yeah.
Some controls on Twilight Gap.
Like a bombed out, fucked up Twilight Gap.
Yeah.
What was the massive the one that had vehicles, the Cabal one that had vehicles on Mars, just like huge map. There was even like gun turrets on the map. I forget what it was called. It wasn't on Earth. It was on Mars. I'm trying.
It was a combined arms map.
Yeah.
Crap, the large map.
I want to say Retribution, but that's
Bastion?
wrong. Bastion?
I think Bastion was the Mars large map.
There we go. Yeah, Bastion. Yep, I think
go.
that was it. Something like that, I would love to come back. And, we're getting eventually like private matches. I really hope, one of my biggest hopes for the game, we can maybe, if you guys want to get into that at some point or whatever, but my biggest thing with private matches, I kind of hope they almost go the full like Unreal Tournament style and allow you to build matches where it's like one-shot kills or something like that. And what I've always loved in private matches when it comes to PvP games is you get the biggest damn map, you equip sniper rifles, and you make it one-shot kills for everybody. I think that's just, it's so goddamn fun because people are basically, it's like cat and mouse, the whole match kind of thing, and I would love if we could get something like that on that map if it were to come back.
All right. You see that I took a really wide tangential question to bring in that the remake map question. Which one do you guys would like to see? By the way, Rusted Lands is the wrong answer, but I understand. Everybody loves that map. I just have a hate game.
Give us back Rusted Lands.
Chicken, I thought you would say Anomaly.
See, that's what I say. I love
which one was Anomaly? Oh, fuck yeah.
The big engram in the middle.
Are you kidding me? Matt, great shout, because I used to go in on Anomaly.
The huge engram in the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good.
I like Asylum, personally.
Yeah, Asylum was good too.
I don't know. Too linear. I mean, I like more circular.
Asylum was one on Venus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's another last word. Get out of here with that. Come on.
Because we can definitely have like an Asylum.
Get out of here.
I did like Exodus Blue too.
Oh, Exodus Blue. Yeah.
I guess I'm picking the ones that I did the best at. So it'd probably be Twilight Gap. If I were to rank it, it'd be like Twilight Gap, then like probably like Rusted Lands, then Exodus Blue, then Firebase Delphi, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Delphi. Oh my god, yeah.
I got murdered in Anomaly, so I would never want to see that back.
Black Shield.
Yeah, I was just thinking like doing public events for the faction rallies. I was just thinking about Delphi, like going through Firebase 80s. Ugh.
Yeah. What would be kind of really cool is if they brought back like First Light in a different way, and with the Sparrows still. You know what I mean? Just like a real nod to Destiny 1, because that was like one of the first maps. You know what I mean?
Maybe for 6's Iron Banner, they might bring back one of the bigger maps.
Are they bringing back 6's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for Iron Banner. It's not one of the subjects they've covered. Because good Lord knows they've covered a crap ton of stuff that they've talked about. But I mean, still sitting on the development roadmap is Iron Banner 6v6.
I mean, that Chicken and I have been talking about this. Like, if you want to differentiate Iron Banner from something else, right? Then Crimson Doubles or regular quick play. Why don't keep that 6 and then have everything else quick play 4v4? You know what I mean?
I've had that same opinion. Like after they announced, all D2 PvPs 4v4 was like, I like that idea, but it's like I even mentioned like soon after they announced, is like it'd be cool if Iron Banner stayed 6's.
Well, it would make it special.
Exactly.
And this is kind of my ordeal, and I'm not being salty, but like how they don't make exotic special anymore. You know what I mean? And that's one of my biggest criticisms of weapons in Destiny is that like they don't feel special like it used to be. Like the Gallahorn, like the Thorn before it was nerfed, like the Last Word before it was nerfed. You know what I mean? Like these are the times where when you held a Last Word in your hand or you held a Gallahorn in your hand, you're like, I'm gonna fuck some shit up, like 100%. I'm fucking them up, fucking someone up. I'm not gonna die, and I don't know. That's just kind of how I
think
feel.
The bigger thing with that, and we've talked about it on our podcast. I think even though the weapons, like the specialty of the weapons, I think a lot of it was the moments that occurred when you received those weapons. Like if it dropped from like a raid chest or got pulled from an engram, there's really none of that in D2 kind of anymore. Like the specialty and the mythology of the weapons, they've gotten a little bit better with, but like I don't know, just it doesn't have that kind of like gravitas. Like oh my god, I got a Gallahorn, holy shit, greatest day of my life.
Well, that's another argument. I mean, people say we don't feel powerful as well, so that's another thing. So weapons don't really feel powerful / feel special. Like me and Honus were saying was, everyone's hungry for 6s. If you made Iron Banner 6s, I would play Iron Banner just because it's 6s.
Right. Not for the gear, not for the weapons,
not for anything else. Just because of the throwback 6s.
Right.
But
you got to make a draw. And for another reason, why didn't they bring back Sparrow Racing? I have no idea.
Wow.
Well, to be honest, I loved SRL. But these Sparrows act very differently than they did in D1.
Yeah.
It's like they blow up
slower.
super easy. And it's like somewhere in the mechanics something is different to where you don't quite have that as good a control.
I would agree.
Yeah,
because
it's like for the whole 2 years before or year and a half or whatever, 2 years before they introduced SRL, I always thought it's like they need to do something with these Sparrows. These Sparrows feel like way more than just glorified, MMO mounts, which they were. But I don't feel that with D2 Sparrows.
No, I do feel like they feel clunky, so I will agree with that. Like, I don't know if it's clunky is the right word, but like sluggish.
Yeah, I mean, it's just different. It's
like my time from the time that you press the boost button to I'm here with you. I would agree. I still would like to race though.
But also, one of my questions is something I just thought of. It's like saying that getting exotics felt special. Do you think longtime players do you think it's possible to keep us feeling special for getting exotics, or do you think that
dude?
Well, I mean, just in the long term, are we going to get desensitized to getting awesome things?
Right.
I would agree to that.
With the brain trust at Bungie. Sorry if I'm cutting anybody off.
No, you're good. No.
This is what it absolutely kills me, because I know through friends, like a few people that actually work at Bungie, and just some of the creativity. Like if you go on ArtStation and you look at some of the artists, like what these guys do when they're not working on Bungie stuff, it blows your fucking mind how creative and how intuitive a lot of these artists are. You can just look at a couple of their stuff and just see that there's a ton of things that are like, one of my favorites is Henry Fong. He did some of the base concept art for this game, like how the armor would look for the 3 classes. Mm-hmm. And what kills me is you go back to, I don't mean to go on a tangent, but if you go back to like the Halo days and you look at some of their artists and a lot of the things these guys created, Bungie really pushed in some way or another for that artwork to be included in the game. Like they try to get every nook and cranny these creative people try to do and get it in those games. There wasn't really a lot that was left outside of the game. With Destiny, just look up like any 2 random artists and go on ArtStation. You could see there's just absolutely vast amounts of really cool creative things they could bring in this game in terms of like armor, ships. Somebody's using a power drill on something or something.
Vibrator.
I don't know if that's a power drill.
That's
maybe that's the name of it. Maybe it's Power Drill XL.
Yeah.
There's just so much they could do, and they could add into this game. And I tend to believe, I think it's constraints maybe from Activision's part. They want to hold some stuff, for later DLC or for like the lifespan of this game. But I mean, there's the potential is there for really cool shit. It's just for whatever reason they're playing it maybe too safe, or budgetary concerns, or they just don't have the manpower to get stuff in the game. I don't know, but I love Bungie as a company.
I'm gonna be the Negatron and be I'm gonna say always budget. It's always about the bottom line. But for me, about how the receiving of them feeling special, I was less involved about feeling special when I got something, and more involved in getting when I held it, equipped it, and I'm like, I fucking feel like powerful. You know what I mean?
You're constantly reminded of when something's special, when it like comes through in a clutch, or when you're just like showing it off, or it's not about the process in which, and then you're reminded of that process whenever you're like, damn, I remember this.
I remember when I had to get the Galahorn, but then remember when I had a bunch of enemies and I destroyed them all for like the win of a raid that I couldn't beat forever? Yeah, I remember that. Right. When we just had the Galahorn people's faces. Do you remember when remember
Galahorn Skolas's face?
Yeah.
Also, you got to think about the fact that there was only one. Everybody's only mentioning one weapon here. Everybody's only saying the Galahorn. No one's saying any other exotic. That's because the balance of the weapons were a little bit cockeyed.
Yes,
a little bit.
Well, okay, so let's
be nice. This.
Hey, last word.
A little bit.
Okay, the ones that were my favorite, the ones that were my favorite that I felt the most special: Thorn, Vex Mythoclast.
Busted.
Galahorn.
Busted.
Busted as in what?
Oh, Galahorn. It was
game breaking.
Yeah,
it was
what I'm saying. When I held it, it was powerful. I'm not going to say the Thorn because I only use Thorn for PvP. The Suros regime. The first 3 weeks when you got to Zur the second time and you bought that Suros, it ripped through everybody.
Oh yeah, dude.
It was dominant. Right. This is, so I feel like I'm trying to think of some other weapons. What else was what I felt powerful? That was the what was the sniper rifle from Crota's End?
Black Hammer.
The Black Hammer.
Yeah. Oh,
was
God,
phenomenal.
White.
When you would get when you would just get a round back in the chamber for hitting 3 headshots,
white nail.
Powerful.
Yep.
Even though that wasn't exotic.
Fatebringer.
Even though it wasn't, those weren't exotics. Those two, Fatebringer and Black Hammer, you felt powerful when you held those weapons. You felt like shit. I'm gonna work on my game here so I can hit these 3 headshots and keep getting ammo.
Dude, I will solo the Nightfall. Goddamn.
Right.
So I feel like that is missing for me. Like when I get, what did I just get? I just got the Crimson hand cannon, right? And I like it. It's interesting, right? And I'm like, I'd rather use just a regular auto rifle.
See, I got it. I got that. I've been using the Crimson with my my Hunter, and obviously I got the Silver Bullet. You got
that shader, same with me.
Art of the ornament, which is
awesome.
But
it is phenomenal.
I think what they did was in Destiny 1, they were like, oh, let's just go super overpowered and see what the hell happens. And then they realized, like, oh, well, the community puts in, like, literally in the LFG, must have Galahorn to do this. So they're separating the group. They're separating their players. Because I didn't get
argue this point all day.
I didn't get Galahorn until right before they nerfed it. So every time.
So is it bringing up traumatic memories?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Oh.
I killed Crota so many times with everything else, it didn't really matter.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was ways around it. You had the baby galley from Crota in that end. You had other things you could compensate. Don't get me wrong, Galahorn was the best weapon in Destiny 1, period. So overall, like, if you would go from start to finish of Destiny 1, I would say that that's the Galahorn, right? So taking that out of account, I'm talking about the other weapons that you felt special.
Bad Juju.
Right, Bad Juju, exactly. Another point, Bad Juju. What's the one from that you got from the Taken King raid? The
Outbreak Prime?
Touch of Malice?
No, the Touch of Malice, right? Another good weapon that you felt, oh my god, I can keep firing weapons, but it takes my health.
Super useful though,
right? And if you're in an aura or in whatever, you were good. And so
or even in a blessings bubble, like it was like, oh
right.
snap.
Exactly. So for me, like I'm missing that in Destiny 2. Like I don't feel that for any of the weapons I get in Destiny 2.
What I was saying,
I need to. Oh, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say to your point, because you were mentioning like the overpoweredness. I've always had this argument with people in that I don't ever feel the weapons. I mean, they were overpowered. Like, think, OG Vex and Crucible, people getting 2-shot murdered. That was a little overpowered, but in my opinion, Bungie just didn't design the game right. I think the weapons, even OG Gallarhorn and all the weapons before they got nerfed into the ground, I will always argue I think they were perfect. But for whatever reason, Bungie didn't tweak the design of the game and like go in there and maybe make enemies a little bit more difficult. Instead, they tweaked the weapon that was in our hands, because of that, in my opinion. Like when they would change weapons and tweak them how they worked in PvP, that carried over into PvE. And I always hated that shit. Like when they switched, you guys remember with House of Wolves when they changed how the shotgun damage worked between PvE and PvP? I thought that was like a little glimmer of hope that they were going to use, like going forward, that's how they were going to design and tweak things for this game. They'd keep the two separated. I was like, oh, thank God, because all the stuff I use in PvE is so good. I don't want it to be ruined because of PvP. But, Bungie being Bungie, everything's got to be equal. And, it screwed everything up, I think.
So you're okay with the fixed rolls now because that allows them to fine-tune a single weapon as opposed to the group of weapons.
I like.
Well, no, I hate that. I like kind of hunting down a good, cool gun that has good base stats, but then kind of looking for the quote unquote god rolls. It gives you so many other options and possibilities.
I like
I
the fixed roll, but when you have the random roll system, it gives you. Well, when you have fixed roll, it takes out a potential grind to get that in the right roll. But the thing about the random roll, when you get that god roll, the difference between a god roll and a decent roll was huge, which was, kind of BS in my sense. It's like, well, I've got a stability perk, I've got a head seeker, I've got, this and the other thing, glass half. Like, it should be at least be able to fight a god roll to a point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you guys said, it was almost god rolls were almost OP in that sense. But at the same time, if you grind it out and you got it, then hats off to you. So it's one of those things. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword for me.
Yeah. See, Des and I have talked about this a lot. When it first came out that there would be fixed rolls and not random, I was against it. And then Des, who was it that says it's like they individually make the weapons? It's like a chef creating a meal. It's like a singular experience. Was that Wisniewski that said that?
Yeah, that was Wisniewski. That they are actually literally crafting these legendary weapons now, rather than
for a feel, as opposed to
rather than having like, okay, well, we have to keep these stats in these ranges because they work with these perks, and good luck with what you get, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think whenever they do random rolls, the base weapon in itself, I'll use Grasp of Malok as a perfect example, that the base weapon, I think, on its own, for the most part, regardless of what roll you got, in PvE and PvP, it was a solid gun until they nerfed it a few times. It was when, people wanted to get the, the body shots, increased precision damage, perk, and, possibly like auto fire or something. I think that's when the weapon kind of took on a different feel completely from the base weapon. But I think there were a lot of guns that on their own were cool, and then the perks to me always should be like the frosting on the cake. They shouldn't define the weapon, in my opinion. And I think Bungie was doing that quite well for a good amount of time, and then they fell into that trap when they started allowing people to reforge weapons, and somebody's playing a candy wrapper or something.
I'm about to say, Honus, are you eating candy right now?
Honus is switching to a phone. I think he realizes that he's still in it.
Good.
Okay. There you go.
Oh God.
But I mean, there were quite a few weapons, and I'll always go back to my favorite gun, almost regardless of the perks, and I will always say, to me, it was almost better than Hung Jury. Was Hand of Judgment that you got from Prison of Elders, from Barrett with those packages. The gun was amazing. Still my favorite scout to date. And, so there we go.
Yeah. I don't know how do you think Dez and Bud? This is a question to you, Dez and Buster. What do you think could bring that back?
For me, I don't think anything, to be honest. I mean, because, in D1 Vanilla, I was excited for a few weapons, but I'm kind of victim of that. Because, I mean, I had good enough RNG to relatively quickly complete exotic collections, and I don't know. It's like, after the initial feel of getting, these weapons, it's just like, eh.
Yeah, see, they need mythology and stories behind these weapons.
Yeah, at least that. At least give them something unique.
Like
Honus, is that your phone?
Yeah.
What my phone?
It's like...
Is it
Sounds
sound
like you're
weird?
rubbing a wrapper on it.
No, listen. It's raining cats and dogs. I don't know
That's
if it's
probably it. That's probably
Okay.
it.
well, no, I'm not outside yet. So I'm leaving my house currently.
The eye of the storm.
And I don't know if it is in New Jersey, but it's raining, and I have my rain jacket on.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
It's the swishing of my rain jacket. I'll tell you that right
Okay.
now.
Static electricity, man. You better unleash your super. You're overpowered right now.
I'm about to say,
I will
Honus, if
say-
you gotta go, buddy, it's okay. I mean, we got Town and we got Chick here. If you need to, you did mention that you have a soccer practice you need to go to. So
This is an amazing conversation. So I'm going to give you. I can give you provided my audio stays good. I'm in my car right now.
So hopefully,
He's done the show from the car before on Rasputin.
Almost survived getting
I'll tell
killed
you, it's
on
just-
the podcast.
Ooh.
Now he sounds like a caller.
So-
We've got a caller, everybody.
does it sound weird?
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Okay, so
Who
Honus
was-
5 from Pennsylvania. You're on. What do you have to say about vampires,
If you
werewolves,
answer this
and zombies?
question right, you get $1,000.
you get 1,000 glimmer.
What is the average length of a person's shoelaces? Go.
The same length as my dick.
Ding, ding, ding.
Sorry.
Yay.
I turned off the car. It attaches to my phone, so
We've lost a
okay.
caller.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
That's better. That's better.
Lost.
Call it. Holy shit, man!
Oh, that was great.
That sounded like that sounded a bit better than the infamous terrible audio.
Yeah, no, right?
Good God!
Yeah, did it sound? I don't think it still sounded as bad as mine though. Mine's notoriously always crap.
Well, Talon, yours is, guys, I really just, it's just one of those, if you just would just, look at, and it would only cut out at like the really main points, and you're like, yes, no, yes, shit.
Maybe.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what Honus
Okay.
doesn't understand is every time someone disconnects from the call, it creates a new recording. So he's playing hell for me right now for editing.
Oh shit! All right, so I'm gonna leave then. If that's gonna not to be disrespectful, I don't want to fuck up your recording.
You're fine, buddy. I can.
Because
I can edit.
Because if I
You're
did
fine.
that, because I know I get shit from Chris from all sorts of recording shit, so I'm not gonna. I know how hell it is because he's the person that does all the recording shit, so I know how it is. Wow, that's
why-
crazy.
That's why I
Go
got
ahead.
really
Yeah, I feel
defensive on the sound quality, because I'm like, you're fucking the sound quality right now.
Yeah. So I just want to point out,
Let me know
so
if I'm
to-
doing that.
So I just want to ask to finish up the question: how could, knowing that maybe some people want their guns to feel special, how could they change it now to make them feel special?
It's so easy. Such an easy. That's a softball question.
I'm not asking you, Talon. I know what you're gonna fucking say. I'm asking Buster. I'm asking the people that are hosting us because they're awesome.
I mean,
And you're awesome too, but they're awesomer.
I mean, I can be honest and say that I'm still kind of into that now. Like, the way I was fully okay with pledging the future war call to get the doubt. And I was like, okay, I'll give them 8 packages. And after 8 packages, I'll go to New Monarchy. And then I was like, okay, I'll give them 12 packages. 12 packages, and then I'll go to New Monarchy. And then I was like, okay, this morning I was like, 15. I'll give him 3 more, and then luckily on the 15th I got the doubt. I was okay with being Gwen Stefani's band from 2000, no doubt. I was okay.
No doubt. Yeah,
I was okay with it, and like I'm an auto rifle guy. I wanted the Hollow Earth. I wanted to give it a shot, and I got that pretty quick. And I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. I love this gun. And then I got the doubt, and I'm using it. Okay. It's basically the forward path, but with snapshot. So now I know.
Don't
go
speak.
back to the forward pack.
I know just what you're singing. Sorry. I don't need a reason.
Okay, stop singing before we get copyright strike.
Oh, sorry. You're not going to get copyright.
No,
Yes.
I know it's 15 seconds, and you didn't do 15 seconds.
Well, that
I
and
did.
It's
cover
public.
as long as you don't sound like.
It's
Which I don't think Honus will have this
Not at
issue.
all.
Yeah,
You only get struck
it's-
if you sound like Gwen Stefani.
it's counted under fair use. We're good.
Yeah, that's what I was
It's
going to say.
counted under fair use.
It's also fair use, but I was just busting balls.
Yeah. You just didn't want to hear me sing anymore. That's what it was.
Well, I'm not saying true or false, but definitely true on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I could definitely
Yes.
say to make weapons feel unique again. I mean, I like the non-random rolls, but I can understand how somebody would like a grind for it. But maybe just like bring back the weaponsmith bounties would be kind of nice again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New weapon designs. Oh, that would be crucial.
We had said like you could grind out, and the weaponsmith adds like mods that like we were talking about, like raid perks or enhancements that could make guns feel or something feel special too. I don't know if that's where you're getting to, but
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say mods because we have mods now. So, like, I would probably say enhancements would be good. Maybe
enhance.
maybe like I guess they would be the same mechanic as the ornaments, but you put them on the gun and they change. Like maybe give you more stability, or maybe there's one that gives you, kind of like how they do with the masterwork weapons, but like
Better.
Like,
yeah,
like attachments.
yeah.
Like you could put a grip
Kinda.
on it or whatever.
I guess I don't know how that would work. I mean, it would be very hard to do.
It's
but
hard.
I
It's hard to
I mean,
quantify right now what we want. I guess.
I would say you guys have really good points, but for me, there needs to be more mythology, and I think they need to almost I think it was Tyson Green said way back in D1 in one of the streams that they did. They try to build these weapons almost like characters. They want these weapons to almost be characters in and of themselves in the game, like the Galahorn became, like Touch of Malice became, Thorn. There was a huge mythology and a lot of things you had to do to get those weapons. I think they've put a lot of really cool weapons in D2, but there is fuck all for mythology behind them. I mean, cool, we can look at the weapon, we press I don't know what it is on Xbox, but on PlayStation, press L2, you kind of get the grimoire for the weapon.
Yeah.
But there's no really mythologizing or turning weapons into icons anymore. There's a reason that in D1, whenever they would talk about new DLC coming out, you guys remember when they made the Iron Galahorn? That was a goddamn selling point for the game. They used Cold Heart for D2, but there was really no mythology behind the weapon, a really cool maybe 3-4 quick little missions that we did for the weapon. There's none of that shit in this game, I think. Yeah. And it's really sad, man. They need to bring that back. Bring the mythology of weapons back.
So you want
you
want quest lines is what you're saying.
Yeah, just a goddamn story behind some of the weapons. To me, the Thorn and I'm forgetting it right now, but the Thorn, to me, even though it was a grind and there was some random ass shit you had to do for that gun, the whole void kills and Crucible, I always thought that kind of took away from the mythology of the weapon just a little bit. But there's they could just go so like deep and like just make the weapons really cool, and that's lacking. And that's one of the biggest points of Destiny is like the storyline. It's like, dude, bring that over into the guns that we use on the daily. Like, make them cool, make them characters
or armor, armor sets, or like. I mean, I'm not big. Believe me, Billy, I'm gonna respectfully disagree. So I'm sorry, not sorry, but like yeah. So I mean, I don't care where the gun came from. That's my perspective. Like, I know that some people are into the lore. Personally, I don't care where it comes from. I care how I use it. But that's like, there's a good portion of people that are the same as me, and there's a lot of people that love the lore behind it. So I agree with you to an extent. But it would be kind of cool to find out, like, a story for the armor sets itself. Like, why is this future war code set or this new monarchy set of armor? Why is this the special armor? Why is this, and have something cool with it, or maybe give a little perk that when you have that whole set, there's some sort of thing like kind of like Masterwork that would like give you a little bit of like a buff,
like a collection bonus.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like set bonuses, please. We talked to that long ago.
And I like that about the Division.
Yeah.
There was a shitload of things that I hated about Division, and there was good things that I really liked about Division. But one of the things I did like were the set bonuses that you would get, and I would grind for sets because of that.
Yeah, that was a great MMO aspect that they brought into Division, which recently they've even upped, like with their classified gear sets, to where now you can have like full set bonuses. Yeah, Division is one of those games I keep saying is like everything they've done to correct their issues. Like right now, they deserve a lot more. I mean, it's getting popular again, but they deserve a lot more attention for the work that they had to dig themselves out of the dirt to where they are now. But they've done, I think, a pretty amazing job. And yeah, I would love to see gear set bonuses, which I think the raid specific mods attached to the raid armor, I think that's a step in the right direction.
I was gonna mention that too, Des. Right. That was the first place I was gonna go with the raids.
Yeah, because the raid mods, like, they don't exactly work with each other, but they kind of work with each other. Yeah. So I mean,
I like the raid perks that we used to get on the armor. Like, do more damage to Hive, or like. And that for me, it makes that armor feel special. And I'm like, hey, I don't care how it looks. I'm going to equip it for the raid because it's going to give me this little added advantage.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Which they've definitely, like I said, also from that aspect, like these new base mods for raid armor, like
I don't like a lot of them.
That's fair. Which I mean, the only the ones I'm focused on getting is like the 25 extra damage for solar ability kills, because Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun can wreck anything.
Just melee one enemy before you hop on a plate, and then do your solar shot. You're just like almost one-shotting kills.
I would like love perks that are more unique. I don't know all the ones, but like what if, like you said, melee kills increase Scion protection. Like when you're doing the pools or whatever it is, not the pools. Is it the pools?
It's the pools.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. Keep going.
It's just one of those things, like unique ones that, like you said, Honus, that I'll put these on a pair of boots and switch to them during the baths. One thing I liked about the Prison Elders, sorry, Honus, to cut you off, was I'm quicker against Fallen, or I have more armor against Fallen damage, or something like that. And you're like, yes, like. It was just more unique. It wasn't just like
you have a weapon perk that says, hey, like you can shoot through the
shields.
Like how they have the protection bubble. You have to kill the one Vex before you kill the other one because it's putting a protection on it.
The Scions, not the Scions.
The Goblins. The Goblins.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like, but they do that for whatever. So maybe you have a weapon that the mod is you can shoot through that easier. Like the protection easier.
Yeah.
So you have a person, you have that in your repertoire, because when you encounter those things, you're like, hey, shit, I'm going to equip this. because I'm going to be killing those things faster than someone else.
Yeah, I'll take out the hobgoblins or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, you take out the one that has the protection, is what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
Instead of having to search around for that one that's giving its light to like protect it.
Or you
know
have
what I
the infamous goblin chains, like one protecting something else, protecting something else, protecting something. It's like, Jesus!
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So
Who do I
you're
shoot?
like-
This one.
right.
Right.
And
How
so
do I
for
stop this madness?
So for me, it's like, why not give that? Why not have that as something to grind for? Like, why not have that in the game? I don't know.
I support that idea wholeheartedly because
I still say to this day the best armor we ever got in terms of raids was like the OG Vault of Glass armor, because I kind of hate the D2 stuff in a sense right now because it's only really effective when you're using that armor in the raid itself, not really anywhere else with those mods. Whereas the Destiny, like the OG Vault of Glass armor, like you always had like, you know, bonus special ammo on the chest piece, bonus heavy ammo on the boots, and then it always worked towards one enemy type regardless of where you were. I love that, and I really miss that. I wish they kind of, you know, we got bonus damage to Cabal, bless you, on wherever we were instead of just in the raid.
Which kind
of bothers me. And it would be cool to be able to do that, like maybe having a gauntlet that does Fallen, and then a boots that do Cabal, something for the Cabal, and then you can mix and match, you know, based on what you're doing. And that's the more customization feature that would be awesome.
Yeah, because really the only artifact we have left of that ND2 is Skyburner's Oath.
Yeah.
Because that allows, I mean, it has
damage to Cabal.
Is bonus damage to Cabal, and you can shoot through Phalanx shields. So it's like, no matter where you are, if you're facing Cabal, which, I mean, they're practically everywhere in D2, so it's, like, fairly useful, which, even though I still don't use it. But anyhow, but yeah, that's, like, really the only artifact we have left of that. But I would then like to see, because, yeah, they did it for the raid armor, but, yeah, I would definitely like to see, you know,
it's more universal.
Yeah, these like specific mods on, like, because I was actually talking Converse, and the only special thing really about like trials and the raid weapons is the fact that they don't have a magazine selection. Instead, you can actually select an extra part, and that's like it.
Hey guys, I'm at practice. I gotta go.
All right, Hunters, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry that I had to cut out the guy that was supposed to cover for me did not. To explain to the audience, he cannot cover for me. So I'm a professional coach. So they pay me to do this, so I have to come out and fulfill my obligation. If I don't have coverage. So I apologize. I tried to hang in as much as I can.
Nah, man,
love you guys. Thanks for everything.
Love you too, man. Have fun.
Later.
Yes.
Everybody saying it's okay. Fuck you, Honus.
Yeah.
All right, bye. He's my brother. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah. I was just thinking, with the whole mod system, would you guys be for like exotic mods? My example being Saint 14.
God, yes.
Like, you could get a mod for the helmet Saint 14 that gives you weapons of light.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be all for that.
I mean, people might say that's game breaking, but however, that makes the game more powerful. That makes the game work. I mean, because I try and think of the PvP as well, but at the same time, in like PvE, like, are you kidding me? That brings back the bubble. You got a pool, a bubble, stack. I mean, come on now. DPS, let's go. Come on, Dado.
I don't know exactly how they can do that for every exotic, because Saint 14 is a glorious like example of that. But I mean, that would be awesome, because Bungie in D2 has a protection, somewhat, of damages, because that's like using the Empowering Rift in PvP.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually modify precision damage. An Empowering Rift in PvP enhances body shot damage. So it doesn't exactly, it doesn't raise your optimal time to kill, but it makes your whatever weapon you're using more forgiving.
I see.
So, like, there is that protection, like, bringing back weapons of light, they can do that exact same thing, And could you actually imagine like a reason to use an empowering rift stacked with weapons of light?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, Argos. I know his name right now, Argos.
right?
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, I like that idea. Like having exotics. Like I said, maybe you have to grind with it, and like blind so many things or something with Saint 14.
Right, make it unique, make it a grind. Like you have to, make it so like it's not just an average Joe can get, super good RNG and get it.
Exactly.
If it's just like, oh snap, I have to, like you said, I like that, blind so many enemies. That takes a lot of time and a lot of
it does
wit almost to make it work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like one example I can't think of doing that with is like Celestial Nighthawks. Like, what do you really add to that? Because I mean, its base perk does what it's supposed to, but I don't know.
I think I might think Celestial Nighthawk is the exception to that rule. To be honest,
I think it would be something as in there's a tree that drops orbs right on precision hits. I would say maybe more orbs, something like that.
That would be cool, yeah. Because Celestial Nighthawk does a lot of damage, and when you're using that tree, like as long as you can get that precision hit, you're making 2 orbs. Mm-hmm. And if you get the kill, it's like an additional 2 or 3 orbs depending on what you kill. So I mean, that initial shot, if you could drop like maybe 2 extra orbs, like as a mod, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't actually
instant reload of your weapons or something.
Ooh, it's even better.
Yeah.
Just on a side note, with the
screw
exotic,
it, just 2 celestial shots.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I know, right?
We need to be able to do like I know we can't on the armor, but we need to be able to add shaders to like the exotic weapons. I know we've got ornaments, but goddamn, Bungie, allow us to put like shaders on all our shit. Just like a side comment. Wow. That always kind of bothers me.
I'm still kind of bummed that I can't use all of my shaders.
Yeah. I'm kind of bummed I can't delete them because I have so many of one type, and I'm like, come on, guys, come on, just let me.
It's not just that. It's like there's some shaders I would love to use, but because they're so limited, like some of them, it's like I would love. Like I got the Crimson Double shaders, like they all looked amazing, but
I hate how much money it costs to switch them around.
I'm actually okay with the cost.
Shader on a ship. $15,000.
Oh, yeah.
That I guess that's what it is. The one that like takes up most. I'm like, where's all my glimmer? Oh snap! I played around and switched my ship color out 4 or 5 times.
Yep, you're broke.
Yeah, but you get glimmer so quickly though.
Right. So. But I mean, like with shaders, I've always said I would love it like as a part of the clan thing and make it a part of the like. Yes, you get more rewards and stuff of the sorts when you increase your clan rep and rank, but make it so where it's not just that, to where like, oh, we can have a custom clan shader that, you know what I mean, we design, because it's like the four mini triangles, right, on a shader. You pick this selection and how it fades. Maybe nothing crazy.
I said the same thing on DTR 2 weeks ago. It was
right.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you.
And then you get to rank 10 with your clan, or like rank 7, and you're like, oh snap, let's go, let's work this out. We want that clan shader. And then at the same time, maybe you have to buy it with legendary marks, or you have to grind. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's just free and unlimited, but you have to grind. There's like a little, you know what I mean, play the game to get it and da-da-da. But
like you have to reach max rank as a clan to unlock the ability to make a shader.
Right.
I get it. Yeah.
We're adding one of the things they mentioned, you guys, in like the latest TWAB, they were saying it's like a step in the right direction. So they're looking at possibly doing like a clan emblem, and then like the tracking counter on that would be like how many people are in the clan, or you could change that. They're looking at doing something like that. I think that would be really dope, like having like the clan emblem.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I would like you said, like the clan count, like how it's like the kill count on there, like clan member count.
Customize the aura that comes with that for like the clan, like everybody when they're wearing that, they've got like your clan,
or like a clan aura itself, not like a clan, like not like an aura customization, but like Yeah, I know that's kind of weird, but like you can maybe how like you can only select so many different kinds of flags for your clan. Maybe it'd be like that. You have like a certain aura you guys can select. So when you get the Nightfall, your clan has a unique aura that you guys wear.
Or put the clan tag bracket in there too, like above your head, like 4 letters.
Okay.
So like that's flown above your head, kind of like old school Call of Duty. You know, that'd be pretty cool. So you'd see like, oh man, that bong dude over there, he just killed me. And look at this guy, ass killed me. Oh damn, no.
Ass killed me. You got killed by ass.
Ass killed me. I don't know if that's such a bad death sometime. But
it's a nice way to go, I guess.
he lived a good life. Ass got him in the end.
The body is willing, but the flesh is spongy and weak.
Whoa.
He died like he lived with ass.
What's the lore on ass? What's the Grimar card say for ass?
Me wants snoo.
I'll just say the mythology is probably pretty shitty.
I want to boo you, but I don't at the same time. But
good stuff.
What have you guys been? Have you guys been playing anything else?
Okay,
I have been
before we go there.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Des. I'm sorry. You know where we're going.
Well, we have a last-minute question from Lazarus that is on. It is a Destiny topic, so before we move off this, I'll go ahead and cover this because it is actually a really good question. So thank you, Laz. Are we going to see any growth in players per day/week from either the March or April 2 update, or do you think players on the fence regarding the game will wait out the new DLC and May update and come back then?
You want to go first?
Yeah. I personally think, as I would do, which I probably am going to do, I'm going to come in a couple weeks early, get ready for it. You know what I mean? Get everything ready, get everything back in the groove, and then when it drops, be kind of prepared, or you know what I'm saying? Like kind of how everybody does DLC. You know, they get all their stuffs and dot all their I's, and then it drops, and then they test it out and play it out. I think a lot of people that are very salty about it are coming back then.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, because I know a couple that are kind of waiting, basically, for DLC. You know, get all these changes in, get them, you know, that way they're, like, worked out and such. So, yeah, I do know some that will be coming back to at least try it, like, when DLC 2 does drop. But at the same time, I do feel... Let me refresh myself on this development map real fast. I think...
Really, side question real quick. Can I add pictures to this Skype chat real quick? You guys, would that mess anything up?
No.
If I were to throw a picture in there?
Yeah, you're good.
Go ahead, man. Sorry.
But I do feel that a lot... Okay, maybe not a lot, but at least, like, the PvP guys, like, I do feel a majority of them will come back in March. Like, a lot of people that are looking for the chase and stuff, like I said, DLC, you know, start of Season 3 is going to be, like, the gateway for them to come back. But I do feel like a lot of these changes that they're talking about, as long as they're still keeping up with these, you know, even if they're not playing, if they're still keeping an eye on the TWAB and an eye on this development roadmap, I feel March is when will be a good, like, PvP repopulation, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, March would probably be where a lot of the PvP heavy guys are going to come in, but with the DLC is going to be where you see the mass influx, because as we all know, regardless of how you feel about this game, if you put on YouTube the day before the DLC comes out, Destiny 2 is dead, the next day you'll have a video on YouTube going, I take back what I said, this is good. You know, my review
every time.
Yeah, my review on the DLC is, you know, coming up. So that's pretty much what it's going to be. The next big thing is going to be with the next big influx we see will be with the DLC dropping.
Oh yeah. That'll be the larger population influx for sure. I do feel also.
So.
I just more to that point. I really think people are kind of in a holding pattern, kind of seeing what Bungie's doing, because there's so much like toxicity still that's out there. I mean, there's a good amount of people like us that play and talk about the game and everything, and have aspirations for where it's going to go. But I think people kind of just got a little burnt out on the grind, and they're playing other things right now, and people are prepping. But like Chris said, I've been constantly preparing. Like I'm going to put a picture in the Skype chat. I don't know if you guys can throw it like in your show or whatever. But I basically kind of like I've done for the past all of the DLCs is you kind of build up reserves. So I've got like exotic engram saved, which they might not do jack, but I've got saved. So kind of just preparing for whatever's coming up, with the next DLC. And by the way, it's actually Bungie worked with us. That's why it's called the Rasputin DLC. I'm just saying that right now.
I was going to make that joke as well.
Insider information.
Bow, 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 bow.
Exclusive content.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Chris won't tell us what's going on. Like, Bungie talked to Chris about that and like how he secured that deal. I don't know, but
man, it's inner workings. I talk like you were talking about. You asked about different games. I'm in talks with many different developing companies. The Rasputin DLC coming out, with everything going out, I know how the stocks are looking, going that direction, but with Fortnite blowing up, when they released the Silence Pistol, I had picked it up, and every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh, I'm going John Wick on people, and then all of a sudden they drop a John Wick skin. So, I mean, they listen to me, and which I'm happy to, provide you with ideas. However, just come out with a chicken suit, please. Skin, and that way I can wear that.
I'm thinking I'm back.
By the way, I love that movie.
Oh, I talked to
John Wick.
My aunt-in-law last night. She was like, I seen John Wick for the first time the other day. I was like, it's so good. She's like, it's so good. Keanu Reeves is such a badass. I was like, hey, did you know he can really shoot guns like that?
Yeah.
She was like, no. And I showed him the video. She was like, what? He's so badass.
Also, his jiu-jitsu is fucking flawless.
Yeah.
Wait, would you say that he knows kung fu?
I would say he knows. I would say he knows jiu-jitsu.
I know kung fu.
So wow.
But
every meme or every little funny thing that happened with Keanu Reeves and like kind of funny like ironic thing has been wiped clean by John Wick for me.
Yeah. Point Break, like, I forgive you.
You're right. I forget. I think all is forgiven, sir. You are the badass like that has been needed in an action movie for a long time.
Yeah.
The next one's supposedly going to be just like even better. He's talked about that a little bit.
Like, oh my god! I was actually I did not have high expectation for Chapter 2, but when I watched it, it was like, oh my god, this is like as good, if not better. Like, dude, for sure. It is like definitely up there with it.
It was up there. I mean, and it was it's like consistent quality.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what was great about it. It wasn't just like that. Number one was such like, wow, what is this? And then you're like, okay, same character, different story. But it was like, wow, okay, wow.
Well, it felt like a really good sequel because, like I said, it did everything the first one did, but it also upped the bar not too far. But just enough to really...
It didn't overdo it to the point where it was trying too hard. Exactly. But it didn't undercut it or like undersell it. One of my favorite parts still remains in John Wick where he's in the house, like they try and kill him after all this stuff, and he body wraps the guy with his legs and does like the side roll. Kills him and gets the other guy, and then turns around and the guy's behind the wall and he puts the gun under his armpit and kills him. Like I play that often. I'm like, dude, that is so dirty. Like that's so dirty.
Yeah.
My favorite part is I was watching it, and I watch movies like kind of with a sharp eye. Like I don't like what is it? The Walking Dead, because there's too many cut the shit moments. That's what I watch movies for. Cut the shit moments. You can't run at a full sprint and hit headshots. You can't do it.
I mean, that Herschel's shotgun of infinite ammo.
Yeah. When John Wick in the first one, when he hit the guy with the triangle choke and then pulled the gun and blasted him, when he had the triangle lock. The dude was trying to fight. He just pulled the gun and shot him in the head. I'm like, oh, I'm in. Yeah, that's
It's the moves he makes make sense.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it. There's an authenticity to it.
Yeah.
That's what's great. And you're like, man, this is like for real. And like how he's two-tapping people too to make sure they stay
Well,
down.
you didn't.
Exactly.
Wait,
You
you
know, and
guys,
you're
you
like,
guys didn't
whoa.
know he killed all those people. That's why they're so good. You guys
With a
didn't know that?
pencil. With a pencil. He killed him with a pencil.
Yeah.
You want to see
He
a
legit
magic
killed
trick?
all those people.
I'm
I don't
gonna
know how I
make
got
this
these stars.
pencil disappear.
I'm sorry, that's still like my favorite scene in that entire movie too.
It's gone.
Yeah, it sets like the entire scene for that. I mean, it
Just
sets
like-
like everything for that Joker.
Dude, right. They're like, who the fuck is
Yeah,
this
it's
guy?
like what?
And
And
he's
you're
like,
thinking like the same
"Sis."
thing's like a magic trick, seriously, and all of a sudden, just wham! It's like,
He made it disappear. Oh shit!
that dude's dead.
Oh,
my
he's
God.
dead.
Real quick,
Jason
not to
Bourne.
go on another random tangent, but with have you guys heard the rumor that supposedly for Joker they're kind of eyeing Willem Dafoe a little bit? That's one of the ones I've kind of consistently heard for that character. Have you guys heard about that?
See, I heard
I mean,
it was
he-
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix? Yeah, I've heard
See,
that
I
too.
think Willem Dafoe would do a really good job because I mean that's kind of how Green Goblin was.
Looks like him, dude.
Yeah, that too. Like it could definitely. Actually, that is extraordinarily true. Get him in the. Oh my god. Like yeah.
Now, people have
Like,
photoshopped the makeup on certain actors' faces. When you see that Willem Dafoe meme where like he looks like the Joker, it's like, oh my god, why don't they make it happen? Be glorious.
I wonder how they're gonna write it in. Like, are they just kind of leaving that Joker, like he's just a different Joker, and then someone's kind of copycatting / whatever,
I think
or is it like?
What they were going to do, what David Goyer, after the last Dark Knight, like he was asked where they want to see the Joker, and like they kind of talked about, Jared Leto's kind of Joker, like how they wanted to make him a little bit more flamboyant, like Dark Knight Returns, like from the Frank Miller comic.
Yeah.
But he said what they would ever do if they were to kind of bring back a serious Joker, almost like a little bit like Jack Nicholson's, like a little bit darker, they would have it where he's been in Arkham and he's getting released. So during that time, like something happened, like he, either physically became more obsessed with finding out who Batman is and killing him, or like going after Gordon or the city. They would kind of use that as kind of like a basis to explain whoever they're going to bring in, like where he came from. Like he's been in Arkham finally, and like now he's released, and things happen there or whatever. Maybe he met some of the other rogues gallery that Batman's going to fight while he was in there or something, and kind of go from there.
See, in one of the comics, I'm sure you guys know, DC likes to do limited runs. Like they give their characters full to the writers and artists. You can do whatever you want. You can change the whole mythology. Like they gave Batman the chair that gave him infinite knowledge. They made in one of the runs that the Joker, the reason he can survive all of the things he can survive, like he's been blown up and thrown out of helicopters and stuff like that. The reason he does that is he's basically like a force of nature. He's like the boogeyman almost.
Yeah.
He like hop. He'll body hop. And
I mean that, and I actually prefer, at least for like the Jared Leto's Joker. I do. It was such a more interesting idea. I don't think DC movies will do it, but there was a fan theory before the release of like Suicide Squad and such.
Jason Todd.
Exactly, that this Joker is actually Jason Todd.
Yeah.
And that's like one reason, because he even went through like the tattoos, and the fact that a lot of his tattoos are like Joker and this and that wasn't the fact that he's trying to be like flamboyant.
He was
But he's
obsessed.
basically reminding himself, it's like,
Right.
I'm not Jason Todd anymore. I am the Joker. And the fact that where his teeth are like silver.
He got knocked out with a crowbar.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that would
right.
be like
Right.
where the Joker like smacked him in the face with a crowbar. So,
Yep.
I mean, that like all the pieces fit, and it's like, there's nothing of that. And it's like, but that fan theory is such a cooler idea than what they're doing right
Yeah,
now.
dude, 100%. Yeah, I remember reading on that, and like people were saying like the whole tooth thing. At first, it was like where Batman originally got into a fight with Jason Todd and like knocked his teeth out, but then people were saying like the crowbar thing. I
Yeah.
was like, dude, either way, that's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, it would just, and then, like I said, because I actually Googled these images, and oh my God, yeah. Like, Willem Dafoe would, oh God.
See,
Dude, he looks just like him. And
He does. It's so tragic. I mean, I've never wanted a Joker like this hard.
the thing that gets me is that Bruce Wayne has, like, I think he's 1 for 5 for Robins. I think the only one to survive was Dick Grayson, and he became Nightwing.
What's his name? The kid.
His son died.
No, not his son. The other kid.
Spoiler.
Not Damien's his son, right?
Yeah, Damien's his son. It was
Who has superpowers now because he got put in the Lazarus pit.
all right. There was Tim Drake.
Yeah.
Who became Nightwing? Who became Red Hood? Right.
Right.
No.
That's
Jason Todd came back.
Jason
came
Todd.
back as
Sorry.
Red Hood. And there was Jason Todd. Who's that other kid? Because he was like really young. He was like actually younger than I think even than
He was the youngest. He was the youngest one he had.
Yeah, because
Right?
he was even younger than Tim Drake when he first
Right.
joined Batman.
Oh
but
my
I cannot
God.
remember his name because he uses a staff now
Yes.
as Robin, and like that's his thing is he uses a staff, but I cannot remember his name. But he's survived, and he's on and off because in DC when Bruce Wayne died, he actually took the mantle of Batman for a while, and that's why Damian was Robin because he was kind of like trying to do what Bruce was doing and not have him try and murder everybody.
Yep.
So there's that. So yeah, he's alive, and I think he's still currently Robin, like the current. I think
The current is Damian, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, Damian Wayne. That's all the characters. That's every Robin in the comics.
There's Duke Thomas as well. Well,
and there was that chick that
Batman
was in like
21.
was as a Robin at one point in time.
Yeah, Dick Grayson.
Yeah, Dark
Jason-
Knight Returns.
Yeah, Damian
Oh
Wayne's the
no,
only
no,
one.
no. Yeah, Dick Grayson became Nightwing.
Yeah,
Tim Drake was the one I was thinking of. My bad.
Yeah.
That's why I was confused because I was like switching names around. Whoops. But yeah.
and Damian Wayne was the one who he's the son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul,
Yeah.
Yes.
who was meant to be the new Ra's al Ghul's body.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why he has superpowers. Detective. But so I asked earlier before we got the Lazarus question, which was a great question. What games have you guys been playing?
Chicken's been playing a lot of Fortnite. I in my gaming career, I always seem to gravitate towards the PvP.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I mean, me and Honus were real deep into that Call of Duty scene, and with Fortnite, it was a nice change of pace, and it was a bigger map, slower gameplay, more tactical. And I just like it. I mean, I like the cartoon feel. People are like, "This is cartoony." I'm like, "It's cool. It's different," and but it's fun. Fortnite's fun. I like it. But there is anybody that doesn't like Fortnite. There is a massive learning curve. You've got to give it a lot of time to get used to it and used to everything. Because that's how it was. I remember I used to just fly in and die. Fly and die. Fly in, get something, die. You know what I mean? And that's why Honus doesn't like it. Because he had that experience, and we played together back when I wasn't any good either. I was flying in, getting something, dying. So we were just dying, wiping, replaying, and it just wasn't fun. So I was lucky to play with some of our it's my cousin-in-law, former clanmate, and they're really good. So they kind of winged me and kind of showed me and taught me also while like getting wins and getting kills. So like now I just kind of am playing with them instead of shadowing them. So we get some good wins. I've only played I've just been streaming like 2 days a week for the longest time. And I have like a total of like 2 days game played, but almost like 69 wins, which apparently is decent because people have like many, many, many hours and only like hundreds of wins. So
cool.
It's all right. But I mean, it's something different. It's a nice change of pace for me
Yeah, for sure.
in the interim between Destiny fixes, It's good. I want to play Monster Hunter, but it's like really, really a lot. And I don't know if I can
Yeah.
get into something like that right now, especially maybe with Destiny coming back, and stuff like that. It's just kind of...
Yeah, I can't get into Monster Hunter.
I mean, then I've actually had a recent conversation with someone, and my fear of getting Monster Hunter isn't even like the depth, because everyone that listens, I mean, I've done Destiny spreadsheets for like, what, 2.5 years now?
Yeah.
So I'm a numbers guy. I research things. So I'm like, the depth of it doesn't scare me. What scares me is I'm going to buy this game, and considering it's like action oriented, I mean,
it'll replace Destiny.
Well, I mean, because this is the thing, I have an iffy relationship with action games, because like they're really cool for me, like at first, but there's always that chance I'm going to get burned out really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not wrong. That is, I have told tons and tons of people about Monster Hunter, because I actually have it. I've been playing, bouncing between. There was a PlayStation Flash sale that they did. God bless Sony for always making us go broke.
I know, right?
They did another Flash sale, and I picked up Transistor, which is incredible. People should check that out. And Song of the Deep, truly amazing game. I think it's wholeheartedly underappreciated. It's kind of like pixel junk shooter, and like the pixel junk games, if anybody's ever played those. But people got to remember, number one, it's Capcom. These are the people that did the Lost Planet games, which are notoriously grindy and annoying. And then the other thing with the depth of the game is there's a lot of things that are behind extremely steep difficulty scales. No pun intended, with dragons and scales, whatever. But I think there's, at first, and what I've kind of run into a few friends, that they're on like that 100th hour now, but they are literally hitting like a stalemate, because how Capcom always does with their huge open world games, where there's a lot to do, a lot to collect, a lot of depth, is that they give you the dangling carrot thing for like the good, first 20, 30, 50 levels. You're kind of progressing slowly, but you feel good. Yeah. You will hit that point no matter who you are, even if you're playing with multiple people, because it's Capcom and it's a monster hunting game, where you are literally going to be grinding your ass off for like one piece of armor, sword, weapon. And the enemies get to a point to where you have to go in with multiple people. You got to do the SOS flare and, go against these enemies with multiple people. And that's why I'm excited for it. I'm going to start playing it, but people got to know going in with that game, it'll be a single-player game, but literally up until the point to where you have to progress with multiple people. Like, otherwise, you're looking at like 20, 30 hours to get one weapon and then possibly go after an enemy. Like, the difficulty scale is insane. I don't know if they're going to tweak that with updates. They've kind of been, changing things around with some of the enemy types and stuff, but that's why I'm super, cautious about playing that game, just because I know from the handheld Monster Hunters how they were. It was awesome, cool. I'm getting all this cool gear, like Snee. I'm looting stuff. It's great. I'm killing all these enemies, and then you literally hit a wall where it's like, fuck, I cannot kill this enemy by myself. I need multiple people. I need this one weapon. And that's where I don't want to scare people from the game, because people are loving it like crazy. But the latter portions of the game, like once you really sink your teeth into it, it gets extremely tough. Extremely tough. And that could get frustrating for a lot of people, I think.
I mean, like I said, it's a Capcom game.
Yeah,
and
that's what they're doing.
They've been doing, like, Monster Hunter is like a decade-long, franchise. And I mean... That's
why people were yelling at them. They're like, hey, with Monster Hunting coming out, look at, Bloodborne. Look at how that game's progression system is. Perfect, where it's difficult, but you can do some stuff fairly quickly, do some quests, and get good enough gear to keep going. You don't literally hit a wall in that game. It's like an easier version of Dark Souls. That's what they kind of need to look at for Monster Hunter. I hope they do that. I'm hoping, but we will see.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people that I talk to that play it, that love it, I ask them why, because I see a lot of people that are like, I just can't get into it, or I didn't end up liking it. And they said that it's because it's a lot like Dark Souls. And if you don't understand the grind, like you said, and the aspect of battling and needing help and this and the other thing, and things will take time. That's what turns people off. So hopefully they do some kind of thing, like you said, Bill, to adjust those things to not necessarily make it so. Yeah, kind of curve it, but not make it too easy. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that and like the state of Capcom, like I tend to believe that they might like introduce a more lenient curve, because I mean, current state of Capcom isn't amazing.
They need money. You could say they need money.
Well, I mean, because here's the thing: they spent so long, like forgetting every franchise they've ever owned except for Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Like all through their development of Street Fighter 4. But like the past 3 games, fighting games in particular, that they have released have almost bombed.
Yeah.
Because for Street Fighter Cross Tekken, they were like the start of the on-disc DLC controversy, because that is literally what they did with that game. Yep. There was like a skin pack you buy for DLC, and people data mined and found out that the skin pack actually existed on the disc of the game.
Yep.
Which started that entire controversy. Then they released Street Fighter V, and it was such a bare bones Street Fighter that it did not sell to the casual audience, like at all. It's currently like on an uprise, I think, because of things that changed. But anyhow, and then Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite again it's like great gameplay, but it looks awful. I mean, it looks awful. So again, they're not pulling in a casual crowd. So Monster Hunter kind of seems like it's like a break thing for them right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, it sold a lot of copies. And
it did. It did. And it's hugely popular right now. But I mean, Capcom kind of needs it.
Yeah, they need it, and that's the biggest thing. You nailed a huge point. With their games, they for whatever reason, I don't know why Capcom does it. You know, and some of your like EA does the same thing. You've got established franchises that do really well. People love them how they are. Yeah. Why mess with that secret? You know, why mess with the secret formula? You don't see like Coca-Cola and Pepsi changing up their shit. You know, every couple years.
Crystal Clear Pepsi.
You know what I mean?
They do have a hot Pepsi though. We can talk about that in a minute, because I got kind of upset when I saw that.
Even though they kind of,
you know what I mean? Like there's just to add to that point, they've got like the core, just to go on the Coke and Pepsi thing, they've got like a core formula that is their bread and butter. People know it. It's original. It's classic. They don't mess with it. But then they do things where they add on to it. Street Fighter and a lot of these games that have established franchises, established fan bases, keep the core games that people keep coming back to and that they love pretty much the same, you know, because, you know, people like what they do and they come back for that. But if you're going to branch out and do other things, make those almost like standalone games or other like components of the game. Like you go into like, here's Street Fighter Alpha that's on the Street Fighter disc, you know, and then you go into that and the game's completely different. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's built a different way.
Yeah.
Too many companies try to mess with the secret sauce that makes their games good, and it's like, stop doing that.
Actually, hilariously, there is also a real-world example of that currently, of a game that kind of tried to add a flavor, which for our audience, this is a Paladin's Warning.
I knew we were going to talk about this today.
I mean, it's like hit news pretty well, but I mean, Paladin's Battlegrounds. They were talking about adding into their core, you know, hero shooter game, a battle royale mode that you can queue into. Cool. Which they've actually just recently, in their private test server, they were alpha testing it to see how well it would work. They had to change like a bunch of their systems just because it was 100-player queue.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so you have 100. Yeah, you have like 100 people on a single map, you know, fighting for, you know, the number one spot. But the alpha test went pretty well, and it was pretty interesting. But they've recently come to a decision in the fact that it is no longer going to be a part of Paladins. They're actually
what's their reasoning behind that?
Well, it's the fact that what they wanted to do with Battlegrounds, because doing alpha tests and actually getting, you know, on the PTS and opening up to like everyone on the PTS. They were getting like, of course, more numbers and information and feedback and crap like this. And what they were trying to do, because they had an internal testing mode that they called YOLO mode for this, and it was essentially
mode?
Yeah, it was called YOLO mode because
that's awesome.
Battlegrounds, what it did is it actually took the existing heroes. So, I mean, if you're not familiar with Paladins, similar to Overwatch, so it's a hero shooter. So imagine like, those hero characters just going into a battle royale mode. So you have characters that are good at specific ranges, and so some characters didn't really, because they have a lot of short range characters, then they have really long range characters, and they were seeing things like advantages and such that they didn't quite want that way for doing a battle royale mode. So in internal testing, they did this mode to where certain champions would be capable of using any weapon or ability. But of course, the modeling that they have, because they're built with this specific weapon and such in mind.
It's part of the character.
Exactly. So, like, a lot of weapons weren't looking right, and it was just it was a whole thing. And then they got into thinking it's like that, and if they wanted to change champions for Battlegrounds, they would have to change the champion
in the base game, right?
Exactly. So,
that's
changes
terrible.
for Battlegrounds might not have went well in the base game, like having a support character. I think one thing, like one of their front lines, Fernando, they made mention of like if Fernando has this thing that he shoots like a laser 1,000 feet away, like sure that would be cool for Battlegrounds, but that's not going to work in the main game without fundamentally changing that character. So they decided to separate it, and so that way it gives them more freedom. And they're talking about basically doing. Right now they're talking about doing something similar to the idea. They still want like. Essentially what is a hero shooter battle royale, but instead you're going to load in with a base character that is not any character from an existing game, but they're going to add these elements from like Paladins, like these similar like weapon types that you pick up and use and similar abilities. So that way, instead of building like a weapon loadout and being like purely, weapon game, you're literally going to go through this thing and build a class that you can play in this battleground or whatever they decide to call it.
So more PUBG than
slightly, but again with like you can pick up like hero ability. You can actually pick up like Sky's stealth mechanics and go in like literally invisible. You can
and Fernando's
you pick up healing
fire
abilities
type of thing.
Yeah, stuff like that. And the CEO himself even mentioned like since they're separating it, they may even pull abilities from Smite. That might work well in this incarnation. So it's just giving them a lot more freedom. But at the same time, the coding, like the core coding that they had to do to support this, they're actually keeping in Paladins and using it to improve the base game and how it performs and acts and interacts. So it's like a lot of bonuses that they gained, but they saw early it's like, this isn't going to work the way we wanted it to, so they're going to end up having to separate it. So there's that, and like I said, it's a real world example that they were going to have to change what works for that game, but they didn't want to do that. So it's going to end up being like its own entity.
Very cool.
So yeah. Which I had to talk about that because that's good. I mean, we can definitely talk about Paladins because holy crap, they got a lot of news. Oh my god!
Yeah, people are playing that, and just everybody's kind of the consensus. Like as you guys know, like everybody's kind of just taking a break from Destiny for the most part right now, and kind of just seeing what's going to play out with like the next DLC and. Kind of, just looking to come back. I really eagerly await when that next DLC drops because I think people are going to come back in force. I think Bungie's going to have, their marketing campaign going, nonstop for the next season and that DLC. So I'm super stoked for that. I can't wait. Somebody comes rushing back. Hopefully.
I'm sure we're definitely going to see like the population spike back. I mean,
yes.
I mean that with the like I said, with the incoming changes plus new DLC, new seasons, like at least I'm going to say for the first like 2 weeks, like population is definitely going to boom back. Whether they're going to stay or not is going to be an entirely different story that I cannot predict.
Yep. It's going to be up to Bungie at that point to keep everybody, sated and coming back. I'm hopeful, man. I'm really hopeful. Really hopeful. Gotta be, man.
I mean, when it comes to Destiny, a lot of it is just there is always going to be a core group that is always going to be there.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah,
I know, right? I'm still going to be running around.
I think a lot of the negativity and drop off, is from outside influence. It's not as for people's love of games. Like for me, it's I don't take anyone else's opinion as my own unless I can break it down and see good points and where I personally agree. But I think there's a lot of blind following. So when they see, for example, big streamers or big content creators knocking it, they instantly knock it. That's a big chunk of why I think it's dropped. But like you said, there's a core group that's like, love Destiny. Yeah, it could be better, but I still love Destiny, so I'm going to keep playing it. And there's not, I'm not going to say there's not a lot, but there is a lot of people who just go, okay, so-and-so says it's dead, so it's dead. Yeah. And then a lot of people start blaming that for their lack of success and this, that, and it's like, you know what I mean? It just created this swirl.
Snowball.
Yeah, and it's kind of, but I'm hopeful. I think he is responsible for Halo, and Halo's still rocking out. You know what I mean? So you can't tell me that they don't know what they're doing, because they definitely do.
And then Halo 5 is even without them developing it, Halo 5 took many a number, even from Destiny.
Right.
Because, shoulder charging and aerial smashing to the ground.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Come on.
I
want to say something on this podcast, and I really hope Bungie is listening. I swear to fucking Christ, they better not have. They probably will, because that's like the nature of how people are successful, and they've got people that follow them. But I pray to God they don't get all the streamers that hop ship, talk shit on their game to come back and to be figureheads for the game. They need to prop up the people like us, like your guys' awesome podcast, like our podcast. Reach out to these people that have stayed consistent with the game, been in the game's corner, are hopeful for its future, still use it as a talking point, still play.
Any criticism has been constructive as well. It's not just blatant hate and
we didn't just
negativity.
Fucking like I'm sorry guys, like I'm not getting 500 follows today for Destiny when I'm streaming. I gotta jump ship. I'm sorry. It's gotta be where I'm at. It's bought me my mansion and my sweet car. I've got married because of it. I named my first kid after the game. But it's time for me to go. Like I'm not getting buku dollars. I need to jump ship. Fuck you. Like the people that are playing this game with me and the people that talk about it, like you guys are all my ride or die fam. Like tattoos across the chest, like ride or die fam. Yeah. Like people that are loyal to something that don't jump ship. That to me is what it's all about. Like if people get burnt out and you got to go do other things, that's cool. But don't the hand that has literally fed you and made you famous and all that stuff. Yeah. I'm not going to name streamers that I kind of like lost. Like I got a bad taste in my mouth with how they handled everything. But there are way too many people that are like, the game is shit now. I don't like it. It's like, dude, Bungie is the reason you don't have a regular fucking job and that you don't work a 9 to 5.
They've done a lot to grind for what they have. It's not all Bungie's investment, but it's a huge contributor, because when you're on those release streams or on those little peek behind the curtain streams, that's promo for you. And that really helped you because that's who people are going to go to when it gets released and you're doing endgame stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. So, like you said, Bill, like, I mean, the people who, I get it. You got to protect your brand. You got to do this. You got to do that. But, like, you also said, if you need to take a break, say it's a break. Like, for me, it's a break. You know what I mean? I like PvP and PvE, but I needed a different PvP, so that's why I play Fortnite. And I actually thank Bungie for opening my eyes to video games as a whole, because I used to stick to just, like, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty. Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty. And then Destiny came out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's all these other aspects that I like. So I started diving more into other games and other things that I start liking to enjoy. So it's one of those things that it's opened my eyes, which I'm grateful for. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's where I left the body.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. No, what I was saying is just be honest. Like, if these content creators would just be honest and say, hey, I'm not enjoying the game as much right now because there's things that I wish were in the game that aren't, so I'm going to start trying to play other games, right?
Yeah.
If they said that, I really think they would continue to have their viewers no matter what, because it's a positive twist on how they feel. Yeah. Now, also, they messed up in putting all their eggs in one basket and then want to blame that basket.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, you went out and bought the basket, so, yeah. But, I mean, it's a weird thing, like the sensations. Like, everyone heard that, this is going to be like a 10-year game, and it's like, you have these content that, like, I wonder if they feel, for some reason, that they have to, like, slog through this 10 years. And it's like...
Right. You don't have to.
You don't.
People that... Yeah. Because I think, we don't have to name names, but there were actually a few streamers that almost, kind of touched on that point. And all I want to do is message them and be like, hey, man, I know learning about game development and the inner workings of the game industry is a little tough, but that's not how this shit changes. I mean, literally, a lot of the developers at Bungie tomorrow, a good handful of them, because they're on contracts for game development, they could be fired. And this game completely changes in a span of literally a week. You basically have to use this as, like, a big thing that you kind of love playing and sets you up. But any smart business person, and especially, all of us here on the podcast, and like Chris mentioned on the show a few times, you can't have all your eggs in one basket. Use it as a good platform because you're good at it. You love talking about it, and it's something that but you almost want to be multifaceted and like, okay, we can, parlay listen to things like Fortnite, and you guys were talking about Battlegrounds, I think, right?
Yeah.
Battlelands, there you go. And kind of just build on that. So many of the streamers, because once this game's bottom kind of fell out just a little bit, the first thing they blamed was the game. And, then to a bigger extent, they blame Bungie for all these missteps and everything. And any company that has millions of people that they're going to have growing pains. They're going to, look at development, what they want to do to entice new people. What can they do to, bring in a different swath of the community? And Bungie, they've kind of admitted a little, they wholeheartedly fucked up in a lot of ways. They kind of went back on some things, and I think they're trying to correct that little by little. So I can't give them too much, but it's just the nature of game development, and especially on this level. Right. This level of game development, we've got literally millions of people that play almost on the regular. Yeah. Few little things are going to have compounding effects, and it's growing pains, so I can't give them too much, but people shouldn't, like Chris said, turn around and be negative about it. Just recognize that there's a little bit of an issue, but bring the positive. Like, the game's working on itself, you guys. Like, there's a lot of positives, because I'll tell everybody I'm not OCD about a lot of things, but, there's still a reason, and in terms of all of its faults, that I still come back to this game and play. And it's because of people. It's people like Chris, people like you guys, people like the podcast, and other friends that still regularly play. I'm not going to ditch that, because of a few bad things with a game.
The thing that gets me, it keeps me in Destiny is the community. And by being negative about, like, basically everything. You're basically saying that like it was all for naught. Like, oh, I wasted my time getting involved in this community in this game. But it's like, hey, man, we've built something as a Destiny community that I'm really proud of. That I am like happy and lucky to be a part of. And by being like just that negative tilt is like you're basically just saying like, oh, it was just for all selfish gain. So like, fuck you, I'm on to this.
Yep.
But you know, it's they have their own viewers, and you know, a lot of people. I forget who I was talking to, and then I watched a video on it. They were like, you know, if you built your brand based on you, people won't matter. It doesn't matter what you're playing; they'll come for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for me, and like despite everything that with the Dr. Disrespect, everything, like I come because he's fucking hilarious. He could play Mario, Paper Mario. I don't care. He's hilarious. So I think that's what I'm saying. Like with the whole basket, they're like, well, I put everything into this, so you know, you screwed me. I'm like, but you could have made moves, okay? And like on Twitter, I'm sorry, I'm triggered about this, but like on Twitter, I seen a content creator say who turned their back on Destiny, who basically shunned it, and they said some stuff about these new things coming out, and then they tweeted at them saying, hey, so we're going to be invited out so we can have YouTube content? I'm like, hey, I said, hey, how come when we reach out to you to be on the podcast, you said, no, I'm not doing anything Destiny. No, I'm not doing. You know, I'm like, so what's that? Oh, now you want FaceTime with them because they're, you know what I mean? They could help you out when it comes back. You know, I'm like, come on, man. Like, get a grip.
I mean, it's always that lore, because I mean the Bungie reveal stuff, it's hilarious because it's kickstarted a couple of careers.
Yes.
I mean, it didn't do anything for Broman, because Broman, somehow, you know, that's
one off.
Well, I mean, he was already there in the community, so I mean, that was like it like made sense.
It was like a figurehead already just coming.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. He was already like making the tops, and I mean, so it made sense. But there was a lot of people, you know, it's like a Mr. Fruit. And, when he was on his, he does say it's like, you know, he has never tried to be like a specific channel, but he had a lot of fun in Destiny, and then he got called up to do the reveal, and it's like it helped kickstart like how he's doing now. So I mean,
right. You got that exposure, so you can't knock the fact that at least you got the exposure.
I mean, that's like that thing, because no matter what they say about Destiny, it's like, yeah, they had the experience. It's like, oh, but FaceTime, exposure, audience. It's like,
right,
chill, bruh.
Chill. Right. Like, check yourself, man. Like, that's what I'm just like, ugh.
I mean, fun is also something that you might want to have as well, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean,
like, you can tell somebody's not having fun if they're just slogging through it. Like, oh, I'm streaming because it's what I do. It's just
right.
How
I was in a channel.
Bills.
I was in
you gotta
channel.
Do it for your passion.
I think it was. I hate to say names, but Slayer Rage, who's an amazing player, was basically streaming on PC, playing Destiny, saying, "I don't want to play this fucking game. I don't want to do this. I don't know why I'm playing this fucking game, but I have bills to pay. Because I fucking this. I can't get viewers on this because unless I play this fucking game." And I was like, whoa, I just instantly turned it off. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, I'm coming because I know you're an amazing player and I want to see what you do. It doesn't matter for me what you play. You know what I mean? I'm coming because you are like, you do crazy stuff no matter what you play. So like, I think he started to realize that maybe for himself, and I might be playing different things, but like you said, there's a lot of these people that feel cornered and they have to slug through stuff, and you're like, no, that's not the case. You don't have to like point fingers and blame people. And that's another thing that you know, I listen to some, you know, I read like inspirational books and stuff like that all the time, and listen to motivational speakers. And the one that, I don't know if you guys know Eric Thomas, he's great. But he says a lot of people have an inability to self-assess. They have an inability to look at themselves in the mirror and say, okay, where have you gone wrong? What have you done first before they start pointing fingers at all the other scapegoats that they want to? And that's what separates people from being have longevity and short success and fall off. And it was, when I heard him say that, I was like, wow, okay. So I'm starting to like notice people that have an inability to self-assess, i.e. half the people on American Idol that suck at singing and continue to come on and go, I'm going to be a famous singer. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're like, okay,
The Andy
have you listened? Yeah.
The Andrew Bernards, as it were.
Yes. So like, have you listened to yourself? So it's one of those things that triggers me often. Especially as an educator, like I'm like, okay, because I try and teach my kids to do that, because that's a valuable skill. But with them, like, let's get back to the point. Hopefully, they don't just play it safe and go, okay, let's get the big faces back, and maybe we'll just get back. Like, you should really just buy into the people who are positive in the community. It doesn't have to
bring
be
us in
or us. I mean, you could bring us in. We'll have a couple laughs. The conversations we had with Deej and Cosmo at Guardian Con were absolutely hilarious. And same thing, other big people who are genuine. But then there's those people who, like we were saying, that are, this is for my own personal gain, which is a business, okay? But still, like, you got to understand there's people that are buying into you and buying into your way of life and might watch you because you have similar morals. And when you go off on that kind of side of the morals, they might follow you just because they like you. Exactly. And you're tilting people in a negative way, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop, goddamn.
I mean, that's one reason that, like, whenever I found Twitch, it's like I tried to actually catch because I mean, even right now, League of Legends is like top on Twitch. It's always been like, for as long as I've been watching Twitch, it's like League of Legends is always like the most viewed thing. So it's like, well, let's check this out and like see how it goes. So I'm like clicking these streams, and like you just get this feel. It's like half the people are just
it's forced
streaming to do it, and it's like
just because it's
so
tops.
Mad and toxic at people, and it's like I've never watched, like, I've watched maybe like a total of like 30 minutes. Like I said, when I first, 4 years ago found Twitch or something. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, you know what? Never watched it. I've never even clicked into League again. So like, nope.
Can I throw you my 2 cents? And because it's kind of, I know everybody watches different streamers for their own preferences and things like that. For me, my biggest prerequisite when I find a streamer that, people have either talked about or they've got good content. For me, the content's got to be there. It's got to be interesting. They need to be energetic. But I need to kind of have, like, when I watch people, they have to be like relatable. I could consider that person like a close friend. I could bullshit with them. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, it's just like you said, dude. When I've seen streamers, people have either said, "Hey, check this person out," or they're doing something. I watch their stream, and I'm not singling anybody out. I know I'm not perfect. I'm be garbage or whatever. But I think there's a lot of streamers that people are fucking like negative and downy about. It's like you're playing a video game. You should be like excited, like having fun. I don't want to come into somebody's stream and they're talking about, God, I need to get this, like, I need to replace my knee tomorrow, and like, God, I almost got into a car wreck on the way here, and I'm doing okay, guys. It's like, God, it's so depressing. What the fuck? You're playing a video game. Like, I know people have ruled stuff, but like, I watch a stream to be entertained and to kind of maybe learn something, God forbid, about what you're doing and about what the game is you're playing. Like,
you gotta have fun. You gotta be having fun.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I don't watch people get their teeth filled at the dentist.
Yeah. Right. I fucking hate the dentist. I ignore all my dentist calls.
But like I gotta have. Yeah, you gotta have fun. That's one of the. Sure. If I watch somebody and they're not, this fucking sucks. This asshole. If it's like a bit, it's understandable. If it's a bit, that's fine. But if you're just constantly negative, I'm like, okay, next.
Right.
But
who needs that in their life? Like, get out of here, man. Go outside and read a book, man. Put the game down, please.
Right. Hey, take
stream yourself taking yoga.
Right. I mean, like, I think, like I was saying, I think they feel cornered.
Yeah.
And they feel trapped. And what I saw a video from a streamer on Twitter who said, you know what? If you're that guy that comes by once every balloon and this, that, and the other thing, hey, guess what? Thank you. I love you. You know what I mean? I don't care. We all have life shit going on. Just thanks for popping by. Like, those are people that value the people that stay with them no matter what's going on. And you're going to have those people. Yeah, you might have dips and flows, and you're not going to be, having top on the what do you call that, the directory. But you know what I'm saying? That's why you build a community, and you can't continue to build a community through negativity. And you're just only going to attract negativity and fair weather people who, you know what I mean, have a negative mindset. And so it's like a cycle. So,
Get out of here.
I'm not a pro at streaming, so it's like, whatever. I just don't like the negativity. The world is so negative as it is, and everywhere you look, and people watch streams and play video games to escape. And if you are broadcasting negativity, you're just aiding in that toxic atmosphere that's surrounding a lot of what's going on. So it's, you know what I mean? Like I said, check yourself, reflect, and really, like, you know what I mean? If you got to take a break from streaming because it's not fun to you and there's nothing that's really piquing your interest, get a fucking job. Go out there and get a fucking job. I mean, you have a job streaming, okay? But go ahead and get a regular job. That,
side piece.
What I mean? A side job to supplement, because if that's what it takes to get your love and passion back, then that's what you got to do. Don't, like you guys said, just drag your face through the mud and thinking it's just turning you off. Like when I was playing college ball, my coach was like an asshole. Oh my God. In the office would say, hey, you're my man, you're my main man, you're starting, I got big things, big plans. And then out of practice, he would just be fucking embarrassing me in front of people, just like, what the fuck are you thinking? And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And he was taking my love for soccer. So guess what I did? I fucking transferred. I transferred school. I said, all right, dude, peace. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That people are just like, I'm not going to stay there and be fucking miserable. Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry about you. So I don't know. It's just, man, triggered. Sorry.
Now, check. When you go ahead, Des. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just about to bring up this one reason. Like, one person I consistently watch on Twitch, it's hilarious because he has a YouTube that's dedicated to fighting games. Which, I mean, if you listen to the show long enough, I've mentioned him before. On Twitch, it's Maximilian_DOOD dude. He has that philosophy. He streams what he has fun with. And I mean, he's like, for 15 years, he's been like competitive fighting game guy. So, which is why his YouTube is focused on it. So, I mean, he's never been
also.
Yeah. But he's pretty good, but hilariously not as good as a lot of like pros, but he's definitely like of that level, sort of. But yeah, his passion is just doing things that he has fun with, basically. And if he doesn't have fun with a game, you're not going to see him play. It's like one of the, I think it was Black Ops 3 actually, because back in the day he played like Call of Duty between like fighting game releases, and Black Ops 3 came around, and you just see him like slumping back in his chair, just like, what's this dude doing? Oh, this is like, oh my God. And it's like, just wasn't him. And it's like, but at the same time, he did it once. He did like a stream for that, but then it was gone. He's like not playing it anymore. So, I mean,
I'm out.
Yeah, so, he does what he enjoys to do, and it reflects, and that's like his primary goal, except for like right now, which he apparently has a lot of games that he wants to play. Like Dragon Ball FighterZ just released, so he's trying to get into that because he likes that. He wants to play like the Dissidia NX, I think it's called, from Final Fantasy fighting game. He wants to play that, but then for like almost a week straight, he like just kept streaming Monster Hunter because he's like, I really like this game. I really like this game. Like, I know I'm supposed to be streaming something else tonight, but I gotta get back into this game. So I mean, it's one reason and he's like one of the most incredible. Like when he goes hype, oh my God! You want to talk about like screaming and just God! So he's
worse than me getting hyped, Des?
Yes, much. Wow. He is the beast of hype. I mean, he screams, he goes off when like things work well.
I mean, I dropped an F-bomb in front of a 5-year-old once, so I'm holy shit.
I mean, like pure intensity. He even has you beat. I mean, it's it's fun to watch him have fun, basically. And you never know what he's going to play. I mean, they tend to have these retro days where he'll play like Super NES games, Dreamcast games, Saturn games. I mean, he goes through this entire
Legacy
gamut.
consoles.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you just never know. And he'll play what's hot, but then he'll like take a break. For a while, they had what they called Anime Saturdays, where they played anime games.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just a variety.
I started streaming D&D because my brother loves it, and I got a little bit into it, and I'm like, nice change of pace, and I enjoy it. And
But
if you get it, you don't.
I'm just saying,
that's
Chick,
fine.
you do know you're in with two super huge D&D Pathfinder nerds, right?
Let's go.
Oh dang!
Like I'm kind of I'm still kind of salty. I don't have a game now.
Listen. There's my brother has those groups that he does, and then what would you say we're gonna do? What does he call it? I call it a strike. You say we're gonna have like a strike sized encounter where it's gonna be like we're gonna bring new people in. Is that? Yeah, one shot. Yeah. So we're gonna do a one shot soon.
And arguably, I am not I'm sorry, I'm not a D&D guy. I haven't played D&D since 3rd edition or 3.
Yeah. That was my last official D&D was 3rd as well.
I played a lot of Pathfinder though.
Yeah.
So like I'll learn a new system to play a paladin. God damn it.
Yeah. To swing around the Max's number one advice for people that of course he's a successful streamer, which hilariously also has a day job still. He's a video editor. So I mean, but
super useful.
His number one yeah. He the one advice that he always has for people asking us how do I get into streaming? How do I get into this? What do I do? His number one advice: do what you think is cool and show this cool stuff to other people.
Right.
And that's what he does. He does things that looks cool and looks good. And that's what he plays. And like I said, that's why I keep watching him, because like I said, it's fun to watch him have fun.
Right. 100%.
Chick, you said you play what, every Friday?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay.
We had off this Friday, which is why we could schedule the show. It's like it depends on everyone's schedule, grown man games, he schedules when it schedules, you know what I mean? So there's I'm sure we're gonna do a one shot soon. We're so deep into this thing. Like we just got my dumb ass last one. These skellies, we were in this fort because we're trying to hunt this guy down, and they started flanking us at night because that's when the skellies and zombies come out, I guess. So and I was on Night's Watch, and they started coming in, and I was like, hold on, let me go and wake everyone up before closing the gate door, and it just turned into a complete clusterfuck. My bad. I'm new to this.
Sorry, guys, we're dead.
Didn't know if I could do a strength check to shut this damn door, so I just try to open up the damn fucking wake you up with my pots and pans.
That's why you always have a paladin with you.
Yes, yeah. But it's
and it's funny.
But turn undead is better from a cleric.
Yeah, well, if you don't have, not a lot of people play clerics, Des.
What are you talking about? It's like primary healer.
Listen, I will tell you, of the games I played, you have to twist someone's arm to play a cleric.
I think you guys would fit in really well because they like diversity. Because one time they did a campaign and everyone ended up being half elves.
Oh God!
And they're like, oh my God, why? And then sort of like, can you change your thing to not be a half elf or whatever? Because when I picked half elf this time, they're like, wait, let me see what everyone else is first before you pick that.
We got a shit ton of low light vision, guys.
Right.
Actually, playing the least popular thing, back in my EverQuest days, my main character my main class was a magician. And they were the redheaded stepchild of the entire community. Because a magician's primary thing was summoning. It's they were super expensive because every spell level that you get pets, you had to buy 4, as versus anyone else's 1. Mm-hmm. Because the magicians had pets that filled different roles. And their spells, it's if you want damage, just go with it because they're better at direct damage. If you want this, go there. But it's because it almost kept me from getting in a few groups because I was a magician, but my guild mates were able to like pull in. It's like, no, we're keeping this guy through. And so many of those ended with, you know what? If we carry a magician into anything, it's going to be this guy.
Nice.
But yeah, it's so yeah, playing like the unpopular thing is kind of my thing. It's like I will definitely take one for the team, so to speak. But yeah, I mean that's my thing.
Nothing's more to me. Nothing's more useful than the smite evil. I'm sorry, it's just such a useful skill. Oh, the guy evil. All right. Well, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hit him for a lot of damage, and he won't hit me for a lot less damage because I'm gonna have my charisma attached to my armor class. So.
I mean, you say that, but also for high-level clerics, I mean, resurrection.
Yeah. Well,
you die.
Yeah, we're actually in our campaign. Something has happened to where there is no resurrection. Once you're dead, you're dead.
Oh.
That's fair.
So it was like because of what I guess the sorcerer did some stuff and is bringing this thing. I don't know. So there's like this big thing going on that has stopped resurrection. So that's why we're hunting these people down to bring it back. And it was like, you know, we're getting back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
That's
just cool.
That's a common thing. That's pretty much, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Chick, you said you listen to a lot of positive, like you read a lot of positivity books and all that.
Yes.
Do you listen to Joe Rogan?
I check out his stuff from time to time.
All right.
I like Joe Rogan, God bless him. He's like me to where he'll go off on tangents. But like with my time, I like when it's like meat and potatoes and just positivity because it helps me get through the day as well as, you know what I mean, I can use it and put it out there. So with Joe Rogan, he's hilarious, but still I don't have time to sift through a lot of stuff with his, but he's awesome though. I love Joe Rogan.
Here's the
Yeah,
one you have to, go ahead.
I was gonna say same thing. I listen to his occasionally too. It's not too bad, but yeah, he goes on the most random ass tangents when he's making like a really good point about things.
Right. But his stuff makes sense though, which is great. He takes it a different way. What were you saying, Buster?
Just do yourself a favor and listen to the David Goggins episode. It's all positive. There's no there's no shenanigans or anything like that. It's just
nice.
It's a guy he wanted to be. The long and short of it is he wanted to be a pararescueman in the Air Force, and he had to lose 106 pounds in 3 months.
Oh shit!
And he did it.
Damn.
Wow.
Now, the thing about this guy is he needed what was it? Hold on. He went through BUDS, which is Navy SEAL training.
Yep.
3 times in a year.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking drive right there, because BUDS is hard as shit.
Yeah, this is not easy, and it's just super. It's just all him being. It's just him. It's not so. It's positivity, but it's like, I don't want to say savage. Yeah, savage positivity. It's like I live in the pain. Like that's
real. Yeah, the real stuff.
Yeah, it's real, and I mean that's one of the things that you just have to get in there and go for it. So
yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I wrote it down.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. As soon as you said like positivity, I'm like, I listen to that kind of shit too. Like, there's nothing worse than when you get up in the morning and you're sore and you don't want to go lift, and you're just fuck it, let's go. You put on, you hit your Spotify and a song comes on and you're like, yes, right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
My kind of analogy, I know everybody's got their own methodology about how they do stuff in their day to day and how they kind of push themselves to keep going. I'm a huge goddamn nerd, so what I always do is I tell myself I'm like a superhero, and it's my job. Like, if you become Batman, if you become Iron Man, you can't just decide, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. It's who you are. Yeah. So you got to basically live to that mantra and, respect it. Like Ben Parks, great power comes great responsibility. Just act, you gotta keep that. So you just gotta keep doing your thing and be positive and keep moving forward.
The greatest quote I've ever heard is, "Pretend to be the guy that you pretend to be. become the guy you pretend to be when you first start dating a chick.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I try to live by that mantra. Goddamn.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. Pretend to become that person. Be the guy who your dog thinks you are. Because I don't know if you guys have dogs, but I mean, I just got.
Oh yeah.
And he thinks I'm the greatest person ever. Like I come home and he's like, "Holy shit, you are! Let's rock and roll. What are we doing? We're going outside? Hell yeah! I'm sorry I ate my poop this morning. I didn't mean to. That kind of thing. You know, he just.
I love my dog, man.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It is funny too because we are so like, you know, he's our baby. I have more pictures of him in my phone than I do anything else. And everybody's like, somebody sent me a message like, "You really love your dog, don't you?" I'm like, "I do love my dog. I fucking love him. He's awesome. He's less of an asshole than most people."
Yeah. Can we give a quick shout out to dogs just for being awesome? By the way.
Oh yeah, shout out to you, pooches. But I've been playing a lot of getting back. See, we do tangents real well here. Because what happens is, as soon as I bring up a topic, I write it down, and then if we do a tangent, I'll start it, and then I see it, and I'm like, gotta bring it back. I've been playing a shit ton of Destiny, obviously. Been trying to get that doubt, but I got it, so I'm not Gwen Stefani's band. I have a doubt. But I've been playing a lot of Warframe.
Ah.
Nice. I took a long
good.
siesta from that, dude.
Oh, it's so good.
I was hardcore into that. If you have a way of... Are you on PlayStation, Xbox? What do you on?
I'm on PlayStation.
Oh, you should add me up, dude. Next time you're on, my clan that's still on there, thankfully they kept me, even though I kind of stopped after, I think it was update 15 was like the last one I fully did.
Oh, yeah.
I ran Rhino Prime exclusively, and I had, I talk about microtransactions and DLC. I have no problem saying I sunk probably close to like $200 in that game just because I was playing a lot of people and just having a fucking awesome time, like doing a lot of things with like 10, 20 people every night for a period of a couple of years. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. My clan Destroy All Monsters, which they now moved on to Monster Hunter, which I'm going to be going into that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that clan, if you look them up, they're in the world for video games, they're like the 4th or 5th ranked clan in terms of like how many people are a part of it. They've got close to, I think at last count, it was almost like 20,000 people that are a part of the clan. Mm-hmm. And all in different games, all repping Destroy All Monsters. I tried getting them going in Destiny, but everybody was like, nah, I don't want to do it. And it was like, fuck. So I was like the only one from the clan in here, and I ended up joining my current clan I'm with. But yeah, their whole thing with Warframe and why I love that game, there's a lot of similarities between that and Monster Hunter. If people are kind of looking for like you're kind of worried about Monster Hunter, you want to get like a good, like just dip your feet in, kind of like a game that has a lot of different subsystems for everything that you do in terms of like weapons, your armor, collectibles and stuff like that. I loved that game, dude, for the longest time. Loved it.
I'm right now I'm actually leveling up Atlas, but I am a Limbo player.
Nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, Limbo's cool. Yeah. Top hat.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got the top hat. The top hat's the helmet. So I was like, okay, yep, I'm in. Thank you. We're good. Moving on.
Such cool.
Yeah, it's such a cool game. I mean, and Des and I talk about it. Des, I don't know if I would say has a hate relationship. He just, he feels.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, that's a safe way of saying it because it is. You can sink a lot of money into it, as you just said.
Yep. Very easily.
Very easily. Like, I don't want to fight this boss 16 times. I can just spend $20 and get them, and have leftover bits to put armor on them. Yep, I'll do that.
For me, it was always buying the platinum for like some of the cooler looking gear, not the really, really like cool stuff, but like Rhino Prime, I was like, I'm not doing that grind. That is like redonkulous.
Yep.
So I ended up just buying like a whole bunch of platinum and buying the parts off the trading system they have in that game.
Yeah,
which
I've got.
I don't know how it is now.
Yeah, it's still there. That's how I get a lot of my platinum because I grind so much so many parts. I'll just be like, here,
Just sell stuff.
and I there's a spot that you can go online to see like what the price is, so you don't like undercut or tank the economy, because apparently there's an economy.
Yeah,
Oh,
there is. Yep.
When trading opens, there's always a built-in economy.
Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I've been playing. I've also been I don't know. You guys are into shows while you play like I do. I multitask like a son of a bitch. But I've been watching Altered Carbon on Netflix.
Phenomenal. I just finished it last night.
Oh, God,
Phenomenal.
No spoilers. I'm like,
No,
No. I won't say a damn
Episode
thing.
no,
Yeah,
I wouldn't spoil it. It's
so
great.
good.
It's so good. Des, listen. Use that account that you miraculously found. I don't know how. Love you, buddy. But yeah, definitely get on. It's so fucking good.
Fair enough.
I really and truly pray that they keep their budget, they keep their writers, they keep basically how that show is, in my opinion. After finishing it, it could be like a 10, 15 year, like huge show. Like the production value of that show is insane. And to me, a lot of people like that are friends of mine that kind of looked at it, they're like, oh, I don't like it, a little too violent, too much nudity. And I'm like, well, no, I mean, it does have that. But the core of the show, the writing, is fucking phenomenal. I would put it against a lot of your bigger shows on like your regular like cable television stations. Yeah. It's absolutely phenomenal. Everybody should check it out. It's like Blade Runner meets like Fifth Element in a lot of ways.
And a lot of people say like, oh, it's too violent, it's too much nudity, and I'm like, what's one of your favorite shows? Oh, Game of Thrones. Come on, bud.
Are you kidding me?
Come on,
I would put it up there. I dare say I would Altered Carbon up there with Game of Thrones. In my opinion, it's so good.
It's like if you like the level of fighting is John Wick style, is John Wick level of awesome.
Right.
Like,
right.
It like the very first thing you see, like when the dude when the main character throws, he does like a dope ass hip throw into like an arm break, and I'm like, oh shit, yep, this is it. I'm in. You had me at hello, good sir. So
yeah,
it's
it's so good.
Agree.
So that's something. If you have an extra hour just to catch the first episode, something to bring up next week when you're like, yeah, I finished it. Thank you so much. But, I think we're
absolutely phenomenal.
I think we're hitting the golden time. About 2 hours and 45 minutes in. Fellas, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you, man.
It didn't feel like this, like it was that long. I've had a great time just chatting, talking about.
I would say that's what she said, but that's terrible.
That's not. Yeah, that's how you get ants. That's how we get ants. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? Talent, if you want to drop your PSN, please do. I will write it down so we can play some more frames. I'm always looking for somebody to frame it up with.
Hell yeah, dude.
So go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you guys. Go
ahead, Chris.
You can find me, Chicken Fingers, on... I'm actually moving to Mixer tomorrow. Find me at mixer.com/chickenfingers, CHIKINFAZ. Instagram and Twitter under the same. And find that positivity on my stuff. You can find me on Rasputin Radio as well on Wednesdays on Twitch, twitch.tv/Rasputin Radio Podcast, and also on iTunes and stuff like that. And, yeah.
Give them a listen.
Just interact. Yeah. Challenge?
Yeah, they could find me. I'm all over social media. I do, if anybody wants to add me up on PlayStation, my name on social media as well as PlayStation, it's TalonCard044, TalonKard044. That's on PS4, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. If not, they can look me up under my name, Billy, last name Javers, Javers. I apparently, it's still a long-running joke. I think it's gone now, but I apparently do have a Tinder account out there somewhere, and
I'm
Farmer's only one.
Swipe right or left?
I don't know, but I guess I'm on there. I didn't make those accounts, but people want to check those out. Those are great too.
Sure, you didn't.
I didn't, dude. The photo that's on there,
Swipe
I checked
right.
and it's like a
and go on
goofy
a
ass
date with
photo.
him.
Yeah, you're near Chicago. Let me look. Like, hit me up.
Des, go ahead, buddy.
This has been your boy Raven. You can find me on Twitter at DES_Raven. And as we've said before, you can add me on PS4, DES Raven, one word. Just be sure for listeners, make that note. You know, RNG listener, RNG, something. So we don't think you're just like randomly trying to add us for whatever reason.
Which happens a lot.
Yeah, didn't happen. I mean, Destiny's a weird place.
Mm-hmm.
You stay in the tower for too long and just might get a friend request.
You said it was DES Raven 04?
No, just DES Raven.
Okay, cool. All right, doing that now.
And you can find me on Twitter at BusterKnuckle13. That's Buster13. You can find this podcast, the Rngcast, at the Rngcast on Twitter. You can email us, the Rngcast@gmail.com. We also have a Patreon, and we've been starting to do a lot of Patreon exclusive episodes. We've done one, and it's pretty awesome, and we will do more. Find that patreon.com/the Rngcast. You can add me on PSN. It's BlisterLister113. I know, the best PSN of all time. Yeah, just like Des said, drop a RNGcast fan or I listen to the show. Go fuck yourself, Blister. Whatever. Anything is anything is acceptable.
I mean, the latter might get you a quick block, but I mean,
that's true as well. It might
maybe
get you a quick block. But that being said, this is episode 91 of the RNGcast.
Woo.
Oh my gosh, awesome!
And we're out.
Later, man.
Later.
Peace. Thanks again.
Oh, it's our pleasure. See you all next week.